Warning: all stories could be completely made up, and we have no way to confirm that. Any and all names mentioned in the show are most likely fake. We at Campfire Moto Stories are not journalists and should not be considered as much. If you're offended by anything said or shown in this episode, we don't care, but we encourage you to voice your opinion so we can laugh at the fact that you can't control your emotions. This program contains full language, and I recommend no one to watch or listen to this.
The views and opinions expressed in the program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the sponsor, any advertisers, or the sponsor's affiliates, employees, or partners.
Coming to you live from the Claremont Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia, it's Campfire Moto Stories.
Hey everyone, welcome to Campfire Moto Stories. I'm Anthony Bennett, and I'm thrilled to have you join us today for our live show. This YouTube show / podcast is all about sharing amazing motorcycle stories from everyday riders like you. Whether it's an epic ride, a funny mishap, or an unforgettable adventure, we want to hear it all. Today, we have some fantastic guests in the studio who we'll introduce in just a moment, where we'll dive into their riding stories. Plus, we have exciting segments lined up, including pre-recorded interviews, Billy's tech tips, Spotlight a Stolen Bike, and stories sent in by you through the website and or phone line. At 8:30 sharp, we'll open the phone lines and give our live viewers a chance to call in and share their own motorcycle stories. Lastly, you'll get to hear an awesome story from my 5-year-old son about riding. May or may not be completely made up. Hey, 5-year-old can tell a great story, so can you. Don't forget, you can earn entries into our YZ250 giveaway by participating in the show. Check out campfiremotostories.com for all the official rules. And by participating in any way, shape, or form, you indicate that you've read the official rules and agree to our terms and condition. Let's get it started.
Another lap around the wall, another request, another call. All I hear is I can't reply. I feel the strain, I fall behind, sacrifice my precious time. All I ever get is every such strength.
Hey, welcome to Campfire Moto Stories. Appreciate you guys watching, listening. I do want to start the show off by anybody new listening to this or watching this, that the main purpose of this show that I'm trying to create is to give the average person a way to share their stories and tell just awesome motorcycle things that's happened in the past, events with friends, races, funny incidences, whatever you got. Call 844-789-2367 anytime, day or night. You can leave an 8-minute message on the voicemail system. And also other entries, you can call in live during the show, same number. We're open right now. Or if you got a crazy video, which we'll show some later today, that gives you 50 entries for sending in a video, 75 for calling in live, and 100 for giving voicemail. So just wanted to start off with that before I introduce my amazing guest, Greg Day.
Amazing.
Hey, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. So Greg is a very established, I guess you could say, supermoto guy. He's raced some really cool people and has some good stories. Came from motocross. So you did some road racing too, is that correct?
No racing, just like
Track days and stuff.
yeah.
Okay. I saw a few pictures on track bikes and I was like, that doesn't really look like a race bike, but I can tell it's a track day.
Yeah.
But
One or two, still like two, but
so I know if you've listened to a few episodes, so you know that I like to start with an icebreaker, just in case you're a little nervous or whatever.
right.
And I've got like 3 of them for you. So I just want
you make me really comfortable.
Good.
I just want to start by saying that.
okay.
I'm not. Normally I am.
That
but,
is actually some of the drugs I put in the fireball shot I just gave you that you just took.
Well,
It's
the
already taken
UPS
effect.
dude had like shit tons of baby oil. Like I was like, oh shit. Anyway, sorry.
All right. So just true or false. We're not going to go into any more details because that is a James Fawcett show.
Oh,
Have
he has
you-
the show?
No, when he comes
Oh,
on.
when he comes on. Okay.
True or false? Have you taken naked pictures of me on a motorcycle?
Yes.
It was
Was
true or
I
false,
aroused?
not yes or no.
Don't ask me that question, please.
Okay, follow-up question. Were you aroused? And no, nobody could tell.
I told
right,
Mima
so-
I was going to be listening. You know.
I said she might not want to.
I'll-
All right, so I was told to ask you about the chomp wang so the trick don't fall off. What the fuck is that?
Okay, I think I know what that one's about. That's my good buddy Neil. Wait, what did it say again?
Chomped wang so the trick don't fall off.
Okay, yeah, that's got to be it. Dude comes in to my buddy's dealer. Where was it? Oh, we don't have to give the dealership name.
No,
but
you can.
I think it's gone now, so it doesn't matter. Yamaha there in Roswell.
Okay.
Dude comes in and asks my salesman, they're looking at an R6 or something. It's got the seat cowl on it.
Right.
So you can't see the passenger seat. So he's like, hey, man, hey, dog, we had a trick ride. And he's, I'm sorry, and what a trick ride, dog. And he's trying to figure it out. And he's like, so finally he's like, man, I'm sorry, I don't understand. He's, the seat, dog, where the seat go, And so he had to explain where the seat and how it worked. So anyway, I think that's what that's about.
So same dude said, there's so many good dealership stories of those kind of things. I remember my uncle had, the ZX6s back in 05. They had the big thing in the front, and the air intake.
Okay.
The 05 ZX6 and the 10s, like it was in the front. It was just a big V almost looking thing. He had a customer come in one time, and he's like, I'm going to buy this thing, but the first thing I'm going to do is take to my body guy, and I'm going to just have him seal that up. That's ugly as hell. And he's like, that's the air intake. Like, if you block that off, this doesn't run. Like, just ignorant.
You should have let it go. Like, do it, man. Bring it by when you get it done. I want to see that.
I don't think he ever bought it. And, the same person said, how do you close your refrigerator?
Oh. How do I close it? Typically with a little boop,
So he said that.
Sometimes
I was like, okay, what does he do? Does he do like a pelvic thrust to shut it, or just a butt bump?
Yeah. That's my pit bunny, my favorite pit bunny, Neil.
Oh, okay. I actually,
Bella Ginger, SPF 50.
So I wanted to start off with some pictures next and see if these things bring up any memories. So.
Is this like that dating show? Where...
Here we go. What's going on here? So I know we got Mike Hoffman here.
Yeah.
Is this like right after like a festival or a Pride event? Like what do we got here?
All weekend he was sweating me. He's like, dude, $50. Just let me wash it. And I'm like, all right, fine. Racing's expensive. That was I think that was Lazy River.
It looks like Lazy River.
It was hotter than Four Hills. I do remember that. I couldn't tell you what race it was.
But it looks like you're digging into your ass. What is going on? Were you blocking or were you trying to get like the gerbil out?
Trying to get the little bit of Lazy River berm dirt out of there. So I don't know. I might have been like scooping up something to throw at him. I'm not sure. So. But yeah, that's my homeboy Mike there. Good guy.
Yeah, we
shower pals for life.
We tried to get him on so that he could like just share some of the stories with you, and unfortunately he was like, Tuesday or Thursday I'm free, but because it's Halloween tomorrow, I had to do a show on Wednesday instead of Thursday. So go freaking figure. That's what happened with that.
Well, he's with us in spirit.
So this was
carry a locket of his hair in my pocket.
Where was this at?
That was Ocala, Florida.
Oh, okay. I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah, you can see it from the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
It's the flea market's right there. It's like a cart track.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, there's a what's the big dog brand? Chewy opened up a big warehouse right across the interstate from them. So now I kind of reference it with that. But it was just south of Hard Rock a little bit.
Yep.
I think like 2-3 exits down.
Yeah.
So I'd always pass it whenever you go to Hard Rock or Reddick, because I don't know if you knew, I grew up in Tampa, so that's
I did know that
whole area down there I know very well.
Okay.
Yeah, Dade City's where I grew up racing and all that stuff.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep, been to that place, not been to it, but been by it. Knew that they would do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if they do anything there still or not. I don't know.
So, I don't think this is motorcycle related. What the fuck is this about? I went Facebook creeping and was stealing some pictures from you there.
That was no, I was going to say something cool, but it wasn't.
It was the rotor-rooter surgery, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, my wife, she had that done 2011 or so. We'd only been dating like a few years, but she would get sick all the time. And then she had that done and no more sinus infections and taking her out and stuff. Same thing happened with you on that?
Yeah, I was getting a lot of like sinus infections and crap, and that was like number 1 or 2. They tried to open it up, and he's like, yeah, you can breathe better. And I'm thinking, all right, that's good. Maybe I'll be able to race better. That's cool. And he's like, but you're going to have to wear these nose filters in your nostrils when you ride. And I was like, what? Yeah.
So was this from years and years of cocaine in the 80s that you ended up needing to do this surgery?
Was, yeah.
What's going on here?
Not at all. I don't have that kind of money, but I race motorcycles. Come on.
Exactly. You don't have money for drugs if you're...
Not anymore. So John Watkins and I were texting a little bit to try to get some stories. And he didn't give me any exact ones, but he did tell me that back in the 90s, you guys would, like, race each other so hard. And I was curious, like, if any stories get brought to memory from that, but, like, what classes were that or what, tracks were those at? I always loved racing John. He was like, I don't know, he was like the Dungy of the 90s. He was like, you knew he wouldn't be dirty. You could trust him, and you wouldn't be afraid to send it over a jump, right beside him or something. And, yeah, that was, God, that had to be like maybe, might have been some of C, B, I know. I don't remember in A any, but yeah. Yeah, good guy to race with for sure.
I did when I bought that picture of Fireball, because I texted him because I was trying to line up something because they were going to be doing a show tonight, and I'm trying to set something up to where they basically come in here and fuck with me while I'm doing one or whatever, like all three of them with the winners take y'all, because they're 2 miles from me that they do their show. Yeah, and but he ended his they had to cancel their show because his parents and heart issues and stuff like that going on. So,
oh no!
But I told him, I sent him a picture of the Fireball. I was like, if you need some alleviate some stress from today,
you're here.
Like, come on by. I got you some. So hopefully he'll pop in. I doubt it. But when he saw the picture, he said, "You're speaking my language, cuz." But
yep,
yeah, John's a good dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, not many better than John.
So your buddy Daniel, he said something about this, and then you sent me this picture later.
I'm glad that he did. Did he say something about
a Gatorade commercial?
I forget about a lot of these things, and when they bring them up, man, I'm like, wow, that was cool. Yeah, that's me and Dwayne Bone, Georgia legend. This was probably 88, 89, and I think his family ran Etchicone at that time, so we were probably just down there in the middle of summer, during the middle of the week, just riding and. But yeah, he's my buddy. Yeah, Dwayne, he's a good guy. So yeah, that was and that was my our old race van. It was like a 60-something Chevy, and yeah, my dad had like he and a buddy painted it, and a friend of ours rebuilt the engine in it, and man, we went to Gatorback in that. We went everywhere in that thing, but people would come by and just look at it, like, because everything was all had its place and had some Corvette wheels on it. That was a cool van.
Oh yeah, you can see the wheels on it.
But that was at the old Etchicone, all sand. Just it got so bad you could just rhythm through the straightaway.
Oh yeah. So what I love the most about it is
the glass bottle Gatorade.
No, the old Conrads. Check those things out.
Yeah. My Atlanta Supercross hat.
And then, is this a stereo?
It is a cassette player. We'd probably jam out to like some Bob Seger or something, or Islands in the Stream. I don't know. Oh. Yeah, the old Fox gear, the RJ. He was my guy.
What boots are these?
Those were those were Hallman back before it was Thor. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Worston Hallman.
Yeah, they shortened it up.
Roll offs. The kids these days don't know much about roll offs. Oh, you see a few nowadays, I guess, but. Anywho, that was when he put the plywood partition right there, and he also put some seats on the other side in the cab. Fold down, like one from the one side and one from the other, so I'd lay across and sleep. So
nice.
Like he'd pick me up from baseball. This is my dad. He would pick me up from school, take me to baseball practice or whatever, or from practice to a race or a game to a race, and then I'd sleep on the way home in the a little bed he made. So that was a cool van, but yeah, cool times.
Yeah, because there was also this one that seemed like it was around the same time era.
Yeah, same van, pre-Corvette wheels, but yeah, the CR60. That's when I saw the 7 on the on your Honda there.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's me and Pops there. He's
Well, hey, we were debating this earlier. So, what year was that CR250?
85.
Silver wheels.
Silver wheels, yeah.
Yeah, because you were looking at the 86 500, and you were trying to figure out what year they started with the gold wheels.
I thought it was
so obviously
maybe somebody will be like, "Hey, jackass."
No, because
you said it was 6. Right?
Yeah, mine's an 86, okay. And Joey Kinsey, he's got the 125 and the 250 86.
He's got some cool stuff,
and they're both gold wheels.
Okay,
so it had to have been 86, 87. They did it. I don't think 88 they did them because in 88 they changed it to a different red.
88 were silver.
Yeah, and they went back to like silver. They
It
went to
was
that
more red, not the
darker
Honda red.
Yeah.
That was the, yeah.
That one and mine downstairs is almost more like an orange to me than a real red.
I agree, yeah. And those stands my dad would make and sell them at the track.
Oh, dude. I remember my dad having a stand just like that when I was
There's
little,
a good chance he bought it from my dad because he would sell them at like, remember, you may not know, you probably not. The KOA campground had a motocross track in Calhoun.
I know of it, but I didn't
like
know.
Smith, Brandon and Kevin and Brandon, they remember that. Maybe Shu, but yeah. They had,
they've talked about that track a good bit on Winter's Take Y'all.
At the campground?
Yeah,
KOA campground.
That's the first time I've ever heard them talking about it was listening to their show.
Dude, it was so weird, but it was so cool. Like they would have all the races, and not a very big crowd, but they wouldn't do awards till at the very end of the day. So everybody had to hang around. Everybody was clapping, and I don't know. It was cool. I don't know. It was just it's not done now and hadn't been done.
And honestly, the vintage races still do that. When I did the Barber Vintage Days 3 weekends ago, yeah, I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not waiting." I was like, "Terry, are you staying?" To Terry Hunter, he's like, "I'll stay." Yeah, and I was like, "Get my award for me, please." And then I just threw it over there.
Yeah, it was cool at the time, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess if you win a lot, it's fun. Like you get to trot up there, like
yeah. That didn't happen a lot for me.
No, it didn't at all for me either.
That's that same picture. I wonder if there's any older ones that are still in here rocking.
You can't see the mullets though, can you? We had some serious. My mom, she was a hairdresser at the time, so Dad's stash like on point.
Yeah,
the mullet. Man, I might even have been like, we might have been like teased up for that,
It kind of looks like it. It doesn't look like helmet hair, that's for sure.
No. So yeah,
I dig the awning or tent. What would you even call that?
Panty dropper is what I'd call that. No, yeah. That was a cool setup though. Mid 80s, that was like factory. Not everybody had a big motorhome and trailer and all that back then.
So one thing that you messaged me that you wanted to talk about was some of the lazy river crashes.
Yeah, there's been a few there.
Honestly,
what is it about
to say this because I don't like to talk shit on like tracks because I'm glad they're here, right? But I hate Lazy River, and mainly because I always get ran over there or something, and it's not the track's fault.
Right?
It's never the track's fault.
Yeah. I think you know what? Maybe it's like over like an Indian, like a native burial ground.
Well, it is a floodplain, so maybe just all the fish that's like flooded and then they died on the floodplain.
So it's just rotten fish.
Well, it's the ghosts of the fish, obviously.
Yeah,
it's haunted by fish.
I don't know. Yeah, like that's the home track. That's the SYD guys. We've been with them forever. And they're.
I'm gonna see if I can find it. Did you see where they reposted a post from 2019 about the layout of it?
I saw the drawing. I thought that Greg came up with or something. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up. Yeah, whatever.
I've ruined a couple motorcycles at that track.
I didn't get the permission for it, but I don't care.
Oh no, my bike not gonna be part of something, am I?
Yeah, you're gonna be part of a legal lawsuit here.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. So this was pretty neat. They posted about this 93. He came home and had this drawing on it. So one thing that I thought was really interesting on it is the fact that look at where the turn goes. So obviously the track went a different direction at that time because look, it came out, made a right, and would go back this way. It looked like.
I'm thinking that's the start. You go straight.
Yeah, this is a start. So, but you start, you make the right, and now it kind of comes back into here. But the drawing shows that it goes into here or goes in like this and then comes back this way, right? And then comes back through here. But all in all, it's pretty much the same layout. But check this out. The finish line, they had it marked for over there.
I don't remember that.
No, but obviously the finish line is right here in this area.
It was always right there at the grandstand, which now it's one lane over. But
does that say finish?
I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be finished. But yeah, cool. Still, that was pretty cool that I saw that the other day and was like, wow, that's pretty neat how similar it is to what it was back in '93 when they first started designing it.
I guess this was probably 94 or maybe 5. I think it was might have been 125C. I think it was Eric Parham and I, super fast guy. Man, we had some awesome battles. Going up, I think we were running the track counterclockwise, so the grandstand would be on our right, and we came together on the first lap. Everybody's still wadded up, coming off the start, and we tangled going up the face of the jump. And the last thing I saw was just, ground sky, and I couldn't prepare for, when I was going to hit the ground. So I landed and tumbled, and I thought I'd landed on you remember how sometimes they'd stake down a hay bale?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd landed on one of those because it just dude, it hurt so bad, which that might have been when I broke my back, but who knows? So I'm feeling like I've been impaled. But I'm feeling for this thing, and I'm laying there, and it hurt so bad. And I landed in like a washout, like where there's some rain, and I look up, and there's my Meemaw in the middle of the track. And I'm even in that much pain, I'm thinking how did you scale a fence and cross a track? Wow, it's impressive, So that was one. And then, the other one I can recall from Lazy River was, I don't know what happened. Maybe my rotor came apart or something off the start. Yeah, it wasn't good.
What bike was this on?
It was a YZ250.
What year?
15, 16.
Oh, so newer. Okay.
Yeah. Of course, I can't recall much of it, but yeah, I think
Damn,
it was
how did the
Ezra
rotor
Parker
came off from the. It was just
earlier in the day. Practice was a little slimy, and I shot off the track and tried to avoid a flagger and one of those big giant hay, the big hay bales, the whatever, and I tagged it with which side's the rotor on the Yamaha? Right side? So that wouldn't have been it.
No.
Clip.
Left side. The brakes on the right.
Well,
rotor's on the left.
I tagged that and peeled my shroud back and tweaked my radiator. So maybe I damaged a button or something because it was a floating rotor,
Mm-hmm.
But we put the bike back together and checked everything out. Everything was good. So then I went to the race or went to the line, and I don't know, maybe everything wasn't good. But so yeah, Ezra Parker was like, "Dude, are you all right?" And I'm like, "What?" And he was like, he's like, "Dude, your bike was 25 feet in the air. Just it landed out in the woods." And yeah, they had to take it out in the bucket of a loader. So yeah, we're back at the pits, and yeah, Pops, he's like, "Yeah, don't even look at your bike right now. That won't help you feel any better." So all right, I won't.
That's never good when the bike has to be taken out with a freaking loader.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild how it works sometimes? Dude, I can think of times where I've had crashes where I'm just going, I'm okay.
Wow.
And I look at the bike and it's just destroyed.
Right.
And then vice versa where I'm broken back, puking blood, and the bars are tweaked.
Yeah.
It's like, how the
so funny
fuck
how
did that
works.
happen?
Yeah.
Then there's times where both of them you get just absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, those aren't fun.
Yeah.
I don't miss that at all.
So I was going to get into one of your pop stories since you were just talking about it, but Palmer wants to know your other son.
Yep.
Which your other boy's in here with us, just hanging out watching the show. He was too much of a little bitch to want to get headsets on, but I don't have a way to turn the camera on to you. But Palmer wanted to know. He said Greg should tell the story of Pops getting the beer while driving the motorhome. So he was driving and then got up in the and then walked to the fridge.
Oh, that was the okay.
Last year?
That was perfect timing. That was when I watered myself up at Lazy River.
Oh, okay.
So unexpectedly, now Pops has to drive the motorhome home because that was probably the end of the day Saturday, and by then, Pops has probably had a few cold sodas. So
oh, just a reminder. I have a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. We were talking, so you didn't listen to it, that all names and events are made up, and none of this is real, and this is all fake bullshit.
Yeah,
so don't worry about legal stuff because it's all made up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's all fictitious.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So anyway, unexpectedly, he's got to drive the motorhome back home because I'm unable to drive now. So, we're, if I remember correctly, and that was when everything was starting to reconnect a little bit. We were riding home, and my wife's driving because she had to drive up a little like the day after, so we had an extra vehicle there. Anyway, we're in the vehicle following the motorhome, which is my dad driving the motorhome. And at one point, I noticed and my dad, he's a retired truck driver, awesome driver, like to the T. So all of a sudden, the motorhome kind of drifts over a little bit and kind of stays there for a second. And I'm like, that's weird, and kind of drifts back over, nice and easy. And then didn't think much of it. So then at it might have been a year later, we're talking about something, hanging around the fire at another race. And then he says, yeah, that time I was driving the motorhome back from the track and I ran out of beer. So I had to set the cruise control on a straightaway and run back to the fridge and grab a beer. And to this day, I don't want to ask him if he was being serious or not. So.
Totally made up fake story anyway. So what does it matter?
Right.
There's plenty of times in my van and the 16-footer I had for a while, or even the motorhome now, where if we're wanting to switch drivers, we're not stopping.
Oh,
We've got it down
Cruise,
perfect.
stand up,
yeah,
slide
the person in the passenger stands behind, person driving, quickly jumps to passenger, and then right into the driver's seat.
I like to take a gentle moment during the exchange.
One time we did like lock legs or arms or something, and it was a fucking panic at that point.
You get a cramp or something.
Yeah, well, we're just like, oh no. Like it seems like 10 seconds has passed, but only like 0.2 has. But so also, what about your pops
fun.
messing up his back and you driving the race van home, Rome Cycle Ranch?
You don't remember that track? Yeah.
No, in fact, when you sent that was something I was like, Rome Cycle Ranch. I hadn't even heard of that one. A lot of the tracks I've heard of because I moved up here in 07.
Yeah,
but
you missed out on a lot of good stuff.
Were closed down at that point, or closed down shortly after the fallout. Housing market. But yeah. So what was that close to? Or
I was super little when we were going there pretty often.
Well, yeah, because so you're driving the van.
It was 80, 84, 85, 86.
So you were 8 years old then? 8, 9?
I guess, yeah.
Like 47?
I had to be. That track, oh man, it was terrible. It was like cross-tie whoop-de-doos. Like by the end of the day, you'd be like wood showing, and it was so you could seriously like roller skate the whole track, just like skateboard down the hills and stuff. But so yeah, my dad, he I don't know if he crashed or if he just hurt it riding, but he pretty much had to crawl back to the van, and so I had to drive home. 3-speed on the column, 9 years old.
Did you have to like put any blocks on the things, or you just at the edge of the chair doing it?
Yeah, I was a pretty tall kid, so I don't remember it being a problem. But I'd driven it all the time, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah,
like when it was time to load up, I would get home off the school bus. 8-year-old me, 9-year-old me would get up and drive the van around and start loading stuff up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, 9, 10 years old. Who doesn't need to drive down the road?
That's way different though. And if you were never driven it at all, and he's like, you got to take it on the interstate kind of thing.
Yeah,
because hell, I remember I got busted for this plenty of times. 13, 14-year-old like stealing a friend's parents' car, or me taking my sister's truck if she's asleep, and we fucking went from Tampa to St. Pete in that bitch one time. I remember it was 2 a.m, and my buddy's driving at this point, and I just see him kind of, he's sitting back, and then all of a sudden he sits up real straight and he's driving like this,
trying to look
and I'm
old,
like,
probably.
What are you doing? He's like, there's a cop right next to us. I was like, what fucking good is that going to do for you? You're just looking suspicious as shit right now. Go back to sitting back and relaxing or whatever. But
that's great.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Oh, I got to make sure to keep this where I can see if anybody's calling in. I had a few people kind of mention that they might. I
gotta mention the ankle support. Shout out to the ankle support in those mid '80s boots.
No,
yeah, there's none.
But back to the.
You could fold the boot in half, literally.
Yeah.
Except for the Scott plastic, the big.
The ACL destroyers. Yeah.
Oh, is that what those were?
Yeah. Exactly what they were referred to as. Anybody that I know
I've never heard that.
And there was a trick like you needed to cut one of the parts off, like the front part or something like that they installed was like shit. So you would cut them off or something.
Sounds legit.
Yeah. I've been around a bunch of like vintage racers, and because you asked me if I knew the old Hondas, and my dad collected old Hondas when I was growing up. He had the 73 250, the 74 125, perfect condition, like all kinds of cool Hodaka Combat Wombats. I'm trying to think of what else that he had. a lot of Honda street bikes and that kind of stuff too. So, and then he'd have the boots and accessories or the helmet that you're just checking out, the old Bell helmet on the ground over here. He had that forever. Was about to throw it away, and I was like, well, let me just throw that in the studio then.
Pops peeled the top off one of those, a Bell Moto 3. This was back when the Yamaha Canton, and they were there back in like the 70s, 80s. Maybe not 70s, early 80s. But anyway, High Falls had I guess this was probably, I don't know, mid 80s. Had like an over-under. And you got a little bit high on the berm. It was like at the end of the day, so the under portion, there was these big I-beams, and the berm had built up too high, and he came in a little too hot and got high on the berm. Boom! The top of the Moto 3 was laying on the track, and he was unconscious, and the bike just rolled out and fell over, and thought he was dead, but he wasn't. So
almost looked like a decapitation as you're watching it kind of thing.
Scary, yeah. I remember like, oh no.
So, also, you're talking about being a dad, and we said that Kaysen's in here. So, were you just deciding to name him that to be an asshole because you figured he'd case jumps his whole life? Like, where'd you get Kaysen from? You go, oh, yeah, honey, what about this name? This would be good. He's probably going to eat shit. Coming up short on jumps a lot. Did you?
Sorry, buddy. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Has he been cursed with that? Has he known for casing shit?
No.
Well, if it makes you feel any better.
We'll go with racing casing. How about that? I don't know. I think my mom maybe came up with that. She's good with that kind of stuff. So.
Well, if it makes you feel better about asshole parents naming kids, my parents named me Anthony Bennett before even thinking about Tony Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I get people calling me Tony all the time. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not a Tony. I'm not fucking Tony Bennett. Not yet ever be Tony Bennett. I can't sing for shit.
I like to be loved by you. Wait, was that Tony Bennett?
No, I think that's Sinatra.
Yeah, sorry.
I left my heart somewhere as Tony.
Okay.
San Francisco, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Careful, we can't be singing songs. YouTube will flag it. Yeah, fucking bullshit. So you'd mentioned something when we were casually texting about a first job working for Mark Crozier, yeah. Yeah, Crozier, and he'd organize some races and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you got any stories from that kind of time?
I think I know. Yeah. That was my first job ever. Was working at his family dealership. But
where was that at? Because it sounded like you said Macon.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is down from there, that area.
Yeah, because we moved to Middle Georgia, and that was our local shop. That was where we got all our stuff from. So every time I'd go in and see him, like as a kid, I'm like, hey, this is where I'm going to work. When I get my license. So just get ready. And so every time I'd come in, I'd remind him that this is where I was going to work. So sure enough, I showed up, and yeah, he got me a job putting bikes together. So then,
so what bikes were there? Like what brands and stuff?
They sold Honda, Kawasaki, and Sea-Doo Watercraft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. Is that a different name now? The shop?
It's gone. Yeah,
okay.
It was there long, I guess.
Because there's kind of like Byron Power Sports is down in that area, but that's more Byron, but that's close to Warner Robins, and then you got Capital Cycles kind of over there.
Yep.
Which I actually finally got to meet Donnie Banks. He's known my dad forever.
Yeah, Donnie, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, I met him at the Barber Vintage Days, and I saw him again at the Great Escape Race.
Yep.
And dude, he got fucked up. He was
at Gatorback?
No, at the Great Escape Race.
Seriously?
Yeah, because he's told me about.
He's too old to be doing that, man. His leg got about ripped off at Gatorback.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he fucked his hand up pretty good. Let me see if it can even show good on the camera angle.
Is that like a Baywatch accident, or? That's gnarly.
What's funny is I had a very similar accident on the water when I was little. Yeah, there we go. Now people can see it. Zoom in on a little bit better.
God.
Yeah, jacked his hand all up. So I think because Billy Eisenacher is the one that told me about it originally, I think he said that it got in somebody's rear sprocket or something like that.
God, that's
or,
like Keith Turpin.
Peg or some shit like that.
I think Turpin lost a finger like that. Remember? Yeah, Keith Turpin.
Yeah, I know him, but
I think he lost a finger in somebody's sprocket. Well, that was allegedly maybe, but. Yeah, I don't want to lose anybody parts, and
if I'm going to lose a finger, it's going to be in somebody's.
Right?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Your your mom. Wait, oh shit, she's supposed to be watching. Sorry, Mima. All right, what's another good one here? This is like a good old picture. What we got going on here?
That's a good one.
Look at your ginger ass.
Yep, that's me and old SPF 50 there. That's Pops and that's Mullet too, I think. Yeah, with his SYD. Yep, those were the SYD days. Early days of the SYD. And my little brother there, Corey.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That was at
who the little dude
Paradise. That had to be 98, maybe? You never rode Paradise in 98, did you?
No.
Hey, that was such a cool place. It would like Blue Groove, like it was so hard packed, and
I understood it was very similar to like Ichikani almost, maybe a little bit harder packed. Kind of similar area too, right? Wasn't Paradise?
they were
close to there?
closed, but no, Etchiconi and Paradise were two totally different terrains.
Because I did get to ride Hillbilly a handful of times, and it's real close to Ichikani as well, but
Yep.
it can't be any further of a difference of track, though. I mean, it's like polar opposites.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I felt like the pictures and things I've heard from Paradise were kind of in between the two. But
Yep, that was Paradise. Brother was probably on P-dubs at the time, and yeah, so he doesn't race anymore, but he was super talented, and I wish I had the video of him cleaning out a kid at Etchiconi one day on P-dubs. He's just following some kid forever, just, every P-dub race, what they sound like. But anyway, he's chasing this kid and can't get around him, and there's just long sweeper. He just comes under and just totally cleans him out. Kid cartwheels, wads, and he's hung under his bike yelling for his mom, and the little brother just rides away staring at him.
so long, sucker.
It's on VHS somewhere, so
Nice.
I got to pull that up. But
If you find it and digitize it and fucking send it in, and I can overlay it into like a video clip. Or just play it on another show later down the road. So it's funny to hear you talk about little kids with P-Dub. So this past weekend at Durhamtown was the first time my kid's actually ridden his PW50, the one I bought him when he was like 9 months old. Like first time riding it without training wheels. And honestly, the last time we were at Durhamtown, he tried to ride with training wheels, and it was a shit show just because it'd start to lean and he'd shut off the gas because it's a weird feeling for him.
Yeah.
He's already ridden the Striders and the Stasics, so training wheels were really messing him off, but I just want him to get the throttle down.
yeah,
But now he's riding that KTM E2. Like he's got that down, the throttle, braking, gas, and maneuvering and all that stuff. So finally got to ride his P-Dub, but a little bit later in the day, because I'd make him ride the KTM once and the P-Dub once. Gave a chance for the battery to charge up too, and just force him to kind of ride the other one too, because he wants to ride the KTM more. But which jump around ADD. My buddy John Popham and I, we're planning to do like a bike test between the two, because he was talking about how they did kind of one between the P-Dub and the KTM EE2, and he's like, it just blew its doors off all the way. I was like, dude, we should make a video about that.
Yeah.
Like, do actual comparison,
Sure.
acceleration, braking, and whatever, and we'll actually
mic
have
them up and get them to talk about.
Yeah, a bunch of little kids talking
I'd
about
be
it,
interested
looking
to
like
hear.
actual like bike tester kind of things. Yeah, we'll try to give them a few things like words to say or whatever too. It'd be pretty funny, but yeah.
I'd listen to that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty funny video. But no, so he went to go past this one kid on the outside, and the kid's got no racecraft
This
at
is
all.
the kids' track.
Yeah, at
Highland Park.
at Durhamtown.
Oh, you said Durham.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
yeah, I could just tell he's like starts to go around the kid, and the kid starts to move over, and he head shakes it pretty hard. It's like, it's just funny watching them with no racecraft of like trying to get around some, because even the other kid was behind him at one point and did get around him. And of course, that made him mad and wanted to get back around him again. So yeah, it's just super funny to see them trying to do that, and then at one point too, I was like, go to the inside, and he just cuts through the grass. And I was like, no, it's too far inside.
You don't do the headsets?
Haven't got them yet.
Dude, I'm a huge fan.
Definitely
There's-
plan to. My wife actually already sent me that, like a 20% discount thing a while back, but I'm like, that's still a lot,
Yeah.
Cardo, if you somehow listen to this, hook me up and we'll do some good videos and reviews for it.
Excellent learning tool.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan.
In fact, speaking of shameless plugs and stuff, why don't I present who brought Greg Day in studio to you?
Our next segment is brought to you by Hard Knocks Racing. They're a group of dedicated motorcycle enthusiasts since 1998. They're your go-to for Campfire Moto official gear and will soon launch an apparel line of their own. They excel in crafting all kinds of custom decals, like this badass sign behind me, from custom signs to full bus wraps and office customization. In fact, check out this work Anthony did at one of the well-known Japanese manufacturer's office who will remain nameless. They also crafted awards for prestigious events such as the Perry Mountain 24-hour race, Mill Creek Spring Classic, Deka Hair Scramble Series, and many more for local racetracks in the Southeast. Check out hardknocksracing.com or give Anthony D'Amico a call at 404-717-2480.
Yeah, so
Mike.
So while we were away and we were listening to that, yeah, Greg here has raced with the D'Amicos.
Yep.
So yeah, any good stories from them? So Tony was the dad.
Yep.
And Anthony,
Older brother?
I don't remember the older brother's name, but Anthony
Chris.
is the
No?
younger one, I believe. I know that
Cool dudes, either way.
Kyle Kelly and him used to battle a good bit,
Yeah.
but I wasn't around back then. I got to get Ant in sometime because he's got some amazing stories. And Joe Antonelli, that was good buddies with Anthony D'Amico, who they both are part of the HKR team, but which if you need awards for races or, cool little decals and that kind of stuff, they're the guys.
They're the guys. Kyle Kelly was actually my first rival, I guess you could say.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I was just texting with him the other day.
Yep.
And saw him a good bit at the Great Escape race. Where the fuck were you guys for that? Sparky's?
We were in Canada.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You did text me that you were in Canada for that.
Yeah, if we would have been here, we would not have missed it. Absolutely not. But we were doing some cool stuff in Canada, so.
It was a good event. I think next year will just be even better.
I hope it did. I'm sure it was a good turnout and racing.
Yeah, I was talking to Kevin right afterwards because I felt there was more people there on Sunday, but he said it was like 350 on Saturday and 250 on Sunday.
That's not bad at all.
No, not
for
bad.
a
And honestly,
throw
if you think
together.
about it, a lot of my buddies that were planning to come to it, Sorks ended up racing that same weekend. So they went to Sorks, and that race attracts a lot of people from Sorks that were planning to come. And also, Sparky's ended up being that same weekend too. And I was talking with Jared Lesher when I was at Fannin a few weeks before, and I was like, "Oh, you going to the Great Escape?" And he's like, "Hell no, I'm going to Sparky's. I make like $4,000 every time I go there." I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I don't blame you on that." I should have told him he's an asshole if he doesn't donate some of it to the Great Escape race since he missed it. Oh yeah, calling you out,
idea.
Jared. I'll text him in a little bit. Fuck with him. So this pic caught me off guard a little bit. Was this an old Chisholm bike?
Chiz was not chizzing in that photo.
I know, but is that an old Kyle Chisholm bike? Because I know that was his race number running around Florida a lot, but time frame and all that stuff, I wasn't quite sure if it was.
No, that is not a Kyle Chisholm bike. That was that was Kaysen's number there. So with 132, that might have been Billy Laninovich, or as we like to call Barry Raninovich. So wasn't he 132, right, Barry?
Yeah, I don't remember. I just know that literally seeing Kyle Chisholm in Florida and stuff, he always had the yellow backgrounds and he always was 132 for like the longest time. So that's what I always remembered him as.
He in the Malcolm days.
Yep. I actually know a lot of people that used to get their bikes and stuff when they were done with them. So that's why I was almost like, I wonder if that was a bike that you ended up getting from them.
No, I mean, I doubt it. It could have been, but we put the numbers on there. So
yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So I'm trying to make a line of where I've got so I don't look at the wrong ones again. So tell me about the time that you scraped your helmet under the bleachers, jumping back onto the track at the Macon Coliseum.
That was interesting. Well, we started to go that way with talking about Crozier and my working there, but yeah. I know he put on some races, but I don't know if he put that one on. But yeah, there was they did it every year at the Coliseum, and I think seems like in Perry they had one maybe, but the Macon Coliseum was off the side of 16, like you'd pass it when you're going out to Paradise, Donnie's track. But nonetheless, there was I got a shit start. And there was a first turn pileup, and they like the announcers were all sitting at this table right on the edge of the track, and that was underneath like the part of the bleachers that kind of came out over the track a little bit. You know, so they're announcing. But anyway, there's this table and all these cables and all, and I'm looking. There's just pile up, nowhere to go. So I was like, well, heck, I'll just go that way. So I go behind the announcers across all the cables, and I go to jump back onto the track, and I know the bleachers are up there, so I duck, but I don't duck enough and scrape the bottom of the bleachers, but I land, where I wanted to land, and I look, and I'm like in the lead, and I'm like, oh, sweet. So I don't know, I led another lap or two, and then of course they end up red flagging it, but I was like,
Yeah, the way that you're talking with your other one about your dad getting his head clipped off, I was like, oh, I wonder if the same shit happened to you like later down the road.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that was like some Final Destiny stuff that just didn't work out. You know?
They missed both times. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some wood if you need it.
Oh, yeah.
I got some wood you can knock on. All right. So you sent this in a text too, and I couldn't quite tell because you don't use periods and spaces or inners sometimes. So your grammar.
Well, my phone likes to do this new AI texting, evidently, so I don't even bother fixing it.
Was it the picture of the notes you sent? But maybe it was a regular text. But it just said
the one of my privates, or was it?
No. My phone didn't zoom in enough on those. So you said racing hair scrambles 12 degrees, and then right after in those spaces, LOQ at Devil's Red Chaos. So I couldn't tell if the 12 degrees went with the LOQ or if it went with the hair scrambles.
With the hair scrambles, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're the off. Well, are you doing off road now? I don't know. I know you.
I've retired in a way from that. Right. I've retired from racing off road series because when you race off road series, you have to go to all the races, which means that it doesn't matter if it's a fucking mud fest or dry as shit
or 12 degrees
or 12 degrees. You have to go,
and you have to go fast.
Yeah,
consistently. Right?
Yeah, for 2 hours. Yeah. And I like beer too much.
It's easy to drink beer.
Yeah, it's much easier. Yeah. So. Yeah, I will go do onesie twosies every now and then, or if the weather looks perfect, or it's just a course that I know well, or somebody's talked shit, or I lost a bet. I'll go to one of those.
Going to be there that you like, oh, Mark's going to be there. I'll go.
Yeah, sure. I don't know about that, but I'll go to them every now and then. Yeah. So yeah, what's this racing in 12 degrees?
Yeah, I don't know if it was like maybe a series race or something, but yeah, I was a kid and we got.
Did they have something down here before Sorks?
All I remember is the what's the
GNCCs?
No, the off-road. I can't think of it at the moment, but I guess it probably was a series, but because we would do some one-off hair scrambles and enduros, but I guess, back then, you didn't have your cell phone to keep up with weather and everything. So
yeah.
It ended up getting down to like 12 degrees that night. And, the sleeping bags, like we took the old racing van. So, I was racing, I think I was racing either 60s or 80s, but sleeping bags froze to the floor of the van, and they ended up canceling all the kids' races, but
because it was so early, usually too in the early.
I remember twisting the throttle, and you can let go of it, and it would just slowly.
Oh, jeez.
I slept in my helmet, like I had a rain jacket on, everything we could wear. So good times.
Yeah, I remember my buddy Joe doing the winter series that they used to do with Sorks, and he had a few of them where he's like, dude, it was so fucking miserable the night before. Yeah. But he was committed to the series, so he had to go to do all of them. He still had to have a great time with that one, though. So then what about the Loretta Lynn's qualifier Devil's Ridge?
Devil's Ridge, yeah. That was...
what state is that?
North Carolina, I think, yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the city. Stanford? No, I don't remember. But that was one of the qualifiers. That was my buddy and I were talking about just terrible. I don't know what it is with me and RV trips. Like, you don't want to go on an RV trip with me. Just don't.
Noted.
I don't recommend it. So,
okay.
But yeah. So I think it was 97 qualifier. I think I was going. I wanted to go for a 250B mod and stock, I think, and my buddy Mickey, he went with me, and it was horrible from the start. The motorhome, like it broke a belt, it was overheating, it was pouring rain. I'm driving, and we're trying to get to the track. No power brakes, no power steering. We finally get into the track, and then
It's not overheating?
oh yeah, it was. We limped into the track. We just got to get to the track, and then pull up on the gate, and this kid on the Yamaha's got all these Kodak people with him. All these mechanics, and all. I'm like, who is that? Who is this kid with all the? But anyway, that was Ernesto when he came over, I guess, to qualify one year. But yeah. Anyway, Mickey ends up in his qualifier. He ends up going to the hospital, and it just wasn't a good weekend. On the way home, the motorhome threw a rod, and not a good time. But we did qualify for Loretta's, so.
Yeah, actually, I think I found a picture from Loretta's that I was going to ask you about. Let me see if I... Damn, I swore that I grabbed it. No, don't see it. Maybe I didn't save it. Probably downloaded that to the Spank Bake file later that I was going to use.
Pretty big file, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm lining something up that's going to be hopefully epic here in a bit. Yeah. So let's go with some of the next ones.
Excited or nervous?
Maybe. So, emptying a pee bottle while driving down the interstate.
Oh, that's a great story.
I've done it too, but I'm just curious what's your story with that one?
This was when we were racing supermoto in Florida in the summer, so it's not like it's hot or anything. So
Yeah.
we just, I pound water for the starting a week before the race. I'm just killing water. So the whole drive down to Ocala, which is where this race was, about a 6-hour drive. I'll go through a case of water. So my younger brother-in-law, who at the time, how old was Matt at the time? 13, 12, somewhere. He was still a lad. And I had this giant pee bottle that I would just like going down the road, cruise control and the race van, stand up, pee in it, good to go. Keep on trucking.
Which I would say has got to be very impressive for you to do with how tiny it is, right? Like it's a hard thing to do when it's small.
I've got a special cup.
Oh, okay. I would say I know from experience.
Yeah. So fellow ginger, I know. So I fill up all my pee bottles, and Matt's like, why don't we just dump it out the window or dump it out? The van had this is Super Duty Ford van, had the slide door.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, why don't we just dump it out the door? I was like, well, it doesn't work that way, Matt. We're going down the interstate, aerodynamics. And he's like, well, I don't understand. Just dump it out the window. And we had my buddy Damon, who my teammate at the time, he's like, just let him, and he's like, I was like, it's not going to work, Matt. And then I see Damon, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. So going down the 75, hand him a full pee bottle. So he slides the door open.
Is it like a glass jug too, or plastic?
It's a big, like a water bottle.
Okay.
That I converted to a pee bottle that I kept under the seat. So slide the door open. We're strapped in, safety first. So slides the door open, and he takes the bottle and he goes to pour it. And I guess the best part is he's wearing glasses, by the way. So he opens the door and goes to pour it out and just spray, so it's dripping off his glasses, and he turns around with an empty pee bottle, and we're just like, now granted, it was like mostly water, because dude, I'm telling you, it was.
Yeah, you're drinking.
As soon as it was going in
so much. Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, I like to remind him of that any chance I get.
So listen to the first episode, and there's a really funny story about me peeing all over Joe with the same concept.
I did. I must have missed that.
Yeah, I literally propped up against the window with it rolled down, and thought that I would create a seal for it to go out. And I look back, and he's just getting. I said he's getting sprayed. He's like, sprayed. I was getting pressure washed.
Oh, gosh. Was it like early morning stuff, or was
no?
it
was from heading from North Florida MX over to either Waldo or.
So there might have been a little water in it.
It was probably mostly beer at that point, honestly. Ooh. Yeah.
Smell bad. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You also said a post SX trip to Claremont and Blondie giving Daryl whiplash.
This is fun.
All right.
I'm having
So for
fun.
anybody who doesn't know about the Claremont Lounge that is watching this, Blondie has passed away since then, but she was
No way.
yeah, like 7 years ago or so. I
She
think
was 134.
probably. Yeah. I do think she was.
She died at work. At
late
100.
80s or early 90s or something like that is how old she was when she finally passed. But she was a short, thick
Listen to this.
black woman with blonde hair, which is why she was called Blondie, and she was known for crushing beer. You'd give her an empty beer can and she'd crush them with her boobs.
I don't think they measured them by like cup size. I think they measured them by like length. Like I think they were like 3.5, 40 inches.
That's pretty fucking.
Well, rest in peace. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I feel like that was big news on like the news reports.
I stay away from all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
tell
Blondie. I guess that was probably after the Supercross one night. And was it? Anyway, we're at Claremont, and our buddy, I don't think he'd been there before, so we go and we sit him in this chair, and it's his birthday. That's the best part.
Okay.
And so we let Blondie know, hey, it's our buddy's birthday. So he's sitting there having a good time. Well, she comes up behind him. I'm pretty sure if she stood behind him, they'd probably like hang down something like right here. But anyway, she comes up behind him, and dude, she grabs one and winds it up and smacks him in the head, dude. Just boom. Throws his head over, and he grabs his neck like, oh. And ends up like hurting his neck, and it's so great. It's so great.
I mean, it's not really a motorcycle related story other than the fact that
after
Supercross, but still an amazing story.
Good times were had at Claremont after Supercross.
It's kind of funny. This is the third show that Claremont's been brought up, and I'm only on 9 shows.
Oh, man. That's great. Is it still around? Or?
As far as I know, yeah. I mean, I've been twice. Once was, I think, just because we heard about it, we were like, we got to go. And the next time was which we went on a Saturday. And we were like,
yeah, that's when you go.
No, it was so freaking hot and packed with people. It was awful.
That's when you go.
No, you go on a Tuesday when nobody's going. So we did our bachelorette party there. So
we caught an STD probably. Just in the bathroom?
Yeah. That's what I told my wife.
Splash.
We got it from. It's fucking Claremont Lounge. Yeah.
We lived right up on top.
You said you and your wife used to live real close to there.
Dude, we'd hang out at the house and, walk down the street and go to Claremont and let all the toxins out, just dance it off. That's a cool place, man. Like, not many places you could be cutting the rug with a 70-year-old black dude and a 19-year-old whatever. But...
All right, so I'm going to play a little story for you to listen to that somebody called in. You'll know. I'll go ahead and say it. Your buddy Daniel. So,
favorite Mexican.
Is he Mexican? I couldn't tell listening to him. I did listen to this one earlier.
Daniel's my guy.
So are you needing a pee break, old man?
I do, yeah. The bladder and the old prostate,
All right, well, we'll let people listen to this because you already know the story then. And then we'll do a little pee break and we'll come back in and you'll get to hear the rest of it. Let me close all these things down so that it doesn't look like, close that one down too. All right. So we'll play this story. You guys enjoy. This is a great story about the man that Greg is.
What?
My name's Daniel Turan. I'm from Dahlonega, Georgia. Been a local up here my whole life. I got a story about Greg, his crew, or him and his family. They may know me as a Mexican or something like that. But no, this little story kind of will show what type of person Greg is. I haven't known Greg long at all. Actually, I'd say this September would be about a year. So how I met Greg was pretty cool little story, I think. So I'm a big XR guy, XR 650 guy. I've always loved them ever since I was a teenager. And one of my friend's dad tried to throw me on one and kick it, and I failed bad. But after that, I knew that I had to be on a 650. So long story short, I ended up with one. And you go on these Facebook group pages, and I got to learning about this bike and all this. And my plan was to race the XR650 at a local race up here in Blairsville called a Sparky's Cycle Ranch, I believe. And my plan was to race my 650R in it, and then I also have a few other XRs, and I have a XR 250R that I was going to race down there too. But a little bit before the race, I was working on doing a top end build on the 650R. Basically head, timing chain. I ended up having to get a new cylinder, cam chain tensioners, the whole nine. I mean, I did a whole top end kit on it. Well, as I'm doing this build, it's all I'm planning on it being done before the Sparky's race, and it's kind of looking like it's all working out. It's all going to work out. Well, a few weeks right before it, I find out that one of the parts or something I was going to need wasn't going to be available to me before the race. And I believe I'm like searching for this part on this group or something. Well, I think that's when Greg comes along, and he may tell it a little bit different, but he offered for me to come by and pick up his beautiful XR650R. Greg, after meeting him and really knowing him, Greg keeps his bikes just, showroom condition. And this man offered me to ride this bike. We've never met a day in our lives. Just kind of back and forth, maybe chit-chatting about these XR650 back and forth a little bit. Well, Greg was like, man, come by and pick this up and come ride it. Race it at this little race. The Sparky's race, it's not a motocross race. It's kind of like a grass track, kind of very easy motocross track if you're kind of trying to compare it to any other motocross track. They still do the old style rubber band starts. And yeah, he's like, man, come by and pick this bike up and race it. And man, I was just like, I don't know how I feel about racing another man's bike. And I was like, I really appreciate that, but I don't know if I can do that. Well, he's like, man, I understand how you feel, but you're more than welcome to ride it. And I was like, sure, yeah, man, I love these bikes, and any chance I get to ride an XR650R, I'm going to jump on it. And it didn't take me long to think about it, and I jumped on it, and something was going on with, I couldn't meet him personally when I picked up the bike. But he just trusted me and was like, come by, pick it up. I'll leave it outside. And I went and picked it up one night and brought it home and kept it at my house for a few days before the race, and took it to the race up there and met Greg personally face to face at this race, like that Saturday, I believe. And I kind of went over there and hung out with him at his pit for a little bit. And man, the rest is history. After that, man, I knew I considered Greg a close friend of mine after that, and Greg's very good people. I ended up racing his 650 and my 250R at this Sparky's race, and had a blast. And shortly after that, he invited me to a few dual sport rides, and I took my 650R there, and he took his, and he also has a 650L that he took. That's, oh man, it's a dream to ride it too. But that little story right there kind of shows a little bit of what type of person Greg is. He's good people. I consider him a really good friend. But first time caller, first time really ever calling into a podcast. I'm a big podcast guy, so I listen to them all the time. So, yeah. maybe it makes the show. Appreciate it, guys.
Dude.
There we go. So, you made a comment about him being your little Mexican buddy.
My favorite Mexican.
Your favorite Mexican?
Yeah.
What do your kids think
I think
about
he's
that?
legal. They're a little cautious.
No. Aren't your kids like half Mexican?
Oh, yeah, probably, but no.
I can't remember. Somebody I was messaging made a comment about kids Mexican or something like that. I think it might
Mike
have been.
Hoffman's Mexican.
I could tell. I could see that.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I'm still on the other screen there. So Daniel actually, he sent me a voicemail, which was awesome. Because guess what, people? He sent me that voicemail. It got played on the show. 100 entries into the YZ250. But he also sent me.
He needs to win it.
How much is he willing to pay to win it? I can. Oh shit!
His
We'll talk off air. We'll talk off air.
Oh, go ahead.
So he also sent me this video that will earn him 50 entries, and I haven't even watched this one yet. But he said, because I told him about like sending any crazy videos or things that happened, he said I came up short on a triple at Sand Mountain. My dumbass mistake to jump this one. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, hold on. Oh, he's already down. It was playing a little bit. Change screens here. We're going to open this up. Let's see what we got here. What kind of dumbass mistake is going on here?
Oh, that's my guy. That doesn't look right. You know what? They built a jump. They were trying to jump the border that day. This was like right
This is
before
when he
Trump.
got to the States?
Yep. He failed.
Oh, so I thought this was a video of him of like actually crashing. So no, this is just...
That looks like Sand Mountain. Yeah, that wrist doesn't look normal.
Oh yeah, you can just see it flopping around there.
At least that's his left. Don't get the one that you're right with. It's really hard to do things with your other hand.
You know,
I can tell you two things that are really hard to do with the other hand.
I was talking with somebody else in my work chats today, and he was making a comment about the stranger and was going to jokingly send that to somebody. And so I responded to him and I said, well, what? Oh, what's up? Should we? This couch is not for casting, sir. It says it right there next to
right
you.
there.
Okay? We already talked about that. The first thing that his son, Kaysen, says when he walks in, he goes, I feel like I'm in a porn shoot. And I said, nope. And sign is there for a reason. Okay?
All right.
All right.
Shut down.
Yeah, he was talking about the stranger, and I said, well, if you break your shit as much as I do, and you broke your right arm as many times as I have, it just becomes
ambidextrous.
Yes, your new normal. You're not even a stranger anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
it up.
Yeah, that got brought up. All right, so Daniel did also send in some questions. He said, so ask Greg.
Sorry, Daniel. It's a bad day.
What's your all-time favorite bike?
That I've owned, I guess.
Sure. The question was your all-time favorite bike. Maybe one you rode.
I have a lot of fun on my 690 supermoto.
The Duke?
No, this is the SMCR 690 SMCR supermoto street legal.
Well, who made it?
KTM.
Oh, okay.
Orange.
I thought that was a Duke for some reason. That was the only time they made a 690.
No.
Because even like the old Dukes that were very skinny.
It's the Enduro, the KTM 690 Enduro with supermoto wheels is all it is.
Huh. I think I've seen one of those.
Oh, you need to ride mine. That's probably
you still own it?
Yeah, I ride it to work pretty much every day. That's got to be one of my all-time favorites. I mean, they're all your favorites. Like it's like which one of your kids is your favorite? You know, I don't know. Like my 60, my CR60 could have been my favorite. You know, that's your first, and I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite.
So I mean, which one is your favorite? I mean, they're not going to listen or
it's hard
or hear right now.
They're not going to listen to you.
Yeah, they're not listening or hear right now.
I'll go with the 690. KTM 690.
No, I meant the kids. What the kids?
Oh, my favorite kid.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I got to go with Kaysen because he's here.
Yeah.
No, I've got good kids.
Hey, I pick a favorite kid all the time.
Well, it's easier for you though.
No, me.
What do you
my
mean?
wife has two kids, my child and me. I'm my favorite.
Oh,
you're my favorite kid.
Okay.
All right, so story from the drives out west for supermoto, but also a little bit later, I'm going to hit on because you messaged me about Vegas trips. I don't know are they the same or are they different? Trips out west for supermoto.
Yeah, that was all just the...
Well, I'll touch on the supermoto stuff a little bit later.
Yeah, that was all supermoto related. I haven't raced moto out west.
So this one's a little bit odd. If the world was going to shit, what are the 4 things you're grabbing out of your basement or shop? Family aside.
That'd be a dual sport bike. You'd be dumb not to grab one of those.
Okay.
If the world's going to shit.
The world's going to shit. What's 4 things out of your...
that are in my garage right now?
Grabbing out of your basement / shop.
So yeah, the dual sport fishing pole, because you gotta feed your family, catch fish, yeah. Motorcycle, fishing pole. 4 things. Oh yeah, that chainsaw, that'd be a good one to grab. Yeah.
You still need one more?
Man.
Nothing.
Lube? Did I say
KY?
Lube? Maybe. You know what? The tackle box. You got to grab the tackle box for the fishing pole. So.
Okay. I feel like that would be the same as the fishing pole thing.
Okay. Well,
so my wife is a little bit of a prepper. You were asking me where she's at tonight. She's at her shotgun league at the gun club. So she actually has a go bag. So I'd grab the go bag. I'd grab the folding rifle.
Right.
And the life straw. And then one of the dirt bikes, I guess.
Flashlight?
Actually,
you have a flashlight in yours, right?
No, I'm too cheap to buy a flashlight. Yeah, just this works the same. Or this one works the same, depending on which one's broken.
Well, I don't have any firearms in the basement, so. However, if I had firearms in the basement, that'd be the first thing, but they're upstairs. So, question was, what would I grab from the basement?
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
I probably cut a hole in the floor of the
basement to gain access to that.
Yeah.
No, but what would be more beneficial, the side-by-side I have or a dirt bike?
Oh, shit. Yeah, the side-by-side would be better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe just make the wife take the side-by-side.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have one as well?
I do, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Go blue, bleed blue?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Is there a thing?
Ride blue. No.
All right, here's another one from him. You're going to Australia to ride the free ride open country. What bike are you on? 650R or a 500? I'm assuming he's meaning a 500 two-stroke, or is he meaning
KTM 500?
The KTM 500. Okay,
that's a tough one.
I don't think so.
If I had an electric start on the 650R, I'd go with the 650R. But I'm old now.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say the 500 all day long. Yeah, but just nimble and lighter and all that stuff.
Have you ridden a 650R?
Yeah.
Have you?
It's a long time ago, but I've ridden one.
They're pretty.
I did think about getting at one time. James Fawcett and Alex Frazier had one, and I was almost bought one time, but I was like, I don't know. I'm just not gonna ride it enough. If my kid was a little bit older, is off doing his things, I had more free weekends. But right now, I'm just spending a lot of time with him, so I don't know if I'm doing the dual sport thing yet. When my balls are halfway to my knee, like yours are, then I'll go to a dual sport.
Yeah.
Which you've got a Tenere, right?
I don't. Daniel, our favorite Mexican, has a T7.
The video that you sent me earlier, what was that on? Where somebody was doing a wheelie right in front of you. You pull that up. Here, let me get that up for you. Did I message that to myself? Let me get this back over here.
You do a lot of things to yourself.
I do a lot of things to myself. It's okay.
I'd like to have a T7. I did get a chance to ride Daniels over the weekend, and man, I don't like. Pretty sure it had a seat massage, GPS.
Oh, you know what? I sent that in this. Here we go. Yeah, what was this one about? What bike are you on there?
That's Betty, the 650L.
The one you're riding? Oh, wait, so are you the one doing the wheelie here?
Yeah, that's me on the left there. My boy Sean on the right. And
Sean McKay?
Daniel. No, that's Sean Fouts. I've got
Okay.
another Sean. So
Actually, I said it wrong anyways. It's McCall.
Yeah,
Sean
McCall, McCall.
Dude, when Kevin Kelly did that at Lazy River, I was fucking dying
I
laughing.
could go to Lazy River just to listen to Kevin Kelly. And Barry Carson with the whole shot, 112 years old. he kills me.
Yeah, he cracks me up.
Yeah.
Do you remember when that race last year? When I came back and was like, I waited for Ryan Villapoto to pass me on the finish line, and I went in front of him and fist pumped it like I was winning a championship. So I told you, they're like, yeah, fucking Kevin was talking about that on the thing, but he thought it was Bradshaw, but it was Villapoto that I did that too. Yeah, I literally checked up on the last lap to go across the finish line right in front of RV and just.
Should we talk about what else happened to
Later.
Bradshaw?
I'm setting something up.
Okay. So yeah, that was last weekend. Case and Daniel and Sean and I went to Tiger to do the fall foliage dual sport ride.
Oh, okay.
So good ride, good stuff. That was a closed course, by the way.
Yeah.
They had
you wouldn't do
police.
anything illegal. Yeah.
No, they totally approved.
All right, the Gatorade glass in the picture in the van. All right, last question from him. All-time favorite moto track in Georgia?
Oh man, that's a hard one.
Easy for me.
Is
But
it?
I don't want to spoil your thoughts.
Hillbilly Hills was always fun. I loved elevation change. Hillbilly Hills. You probably don't remember Copperhead.
No, I don't
Blairsville?
think you heard that one. Mm-mm.
Another elevation change track. I think it was in like Blairsville or something. It wasn't around long, but Hillbilly Hills probably. Hillbilly
So I got a funny story with Hillbilly Hills. This I don't think I've talked about it much. Do you know Daniel Hitchcock at all? He would have been
I know
racing
that
back in the
name.
90s and stuff. He was a
Yeah.
fast B rider and stuff. Made it to Loretta's a few times. So a coworker of his was a big time mountain biker, and he'd smoke all of us. The dude was like 5'1", but just could fucking go on a mountain bike. So he talked enough shit about how dirt bikes can't be that hard, can't be that blah blah blah. So
Just sit there, right?
yeah, you just sit there and twist the throttle.
Yeah.
So it took his ass to Hillbilly Hills one time. This is actually one of the first times I remember seeing Mike Hoffman. And this just had been the last year they were open too. Like Grant was still, I think, on Cobra 50s at this time. So we brought a 250F for him, and we set him out there with the 50s because he was so slow. It was literally just almost every lap would get cross-rutted, spit off the bike. Yeah, the dude has never ridden a dirt bike since then and didn't talk to us for about 4 months.
There's a lot of steep hills to tumble down at Hillbilly Hills.
So, like, there's the one you go down the hill and you go around, and I think it's the finish line, and you come back up and you come across the starting line that came back, which I fucking love that jump. I remember,
Step up. Yeah.
dude, just fourth gear as far as you could go to get to
was
the
a fun
downside.
jump.
Yeah.
Because there's not many jumps where you could jump, I don't know, 70 feet to clear it.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to go 140 feet,
Yeah.
you'd land the same.
Yeah.
Just butter, you know.
Yeah,
And
it was. I was
was-
going
that
for
was cool.
140. I remember
you
one
could-
time shorten, like, because there was a sweet spot after the finish line or the start straight, and it dropped off. There was kind of a little bit of a sweet spot. I hit the worst spot of that, so I went like
Oh.
130 instead of the
Yeah,
140.
don't
Yeah,
do
it
that.
wasn't fun. Let's see.
that was that was a fun track. A lot of good memories from Hillbilly.
So I'm past a lot of the Daniel questions in motocross. So how about the Canton Yamaha days? So I didn't realize that. Did you work there then?
I did not work at Canton Yamaha. I worked at the Honda shop on like right on top of the hill.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
What was the name of it back then?
it was Motorsports.
Okay, that's what I thought, which
Yeah.
was very similar to like Motorsport Outlet. That's why I was like, no, that must have not been the name.
That was right before they got bought out by whoever.
Cycle Nation.
And they ended up on.
So Cycle Nation bought them out because I started working at that place in 2009 after they bought the Yamaha Canton shop. So I got to work with Sean Dillon. I got to work with Mitch Head and Jacob and a lot of those
Sean
guys.
And,
yeah, I worked with them for about a year and a half. Who was the Benny? Old grumpy dude named Benny was from there. It was pretty funny. The guy would just walk in and just bitch about life all the time and just be like, God damn, I wish the place would burn down. Might burn down the place myself. So, all right.
Let's start talking about the red swing line. And
kind of fucked up.
Squirrels were married. And
no, like he just hated life. He was just a bitch, right? All right, so this is really fucking funny. So for Halloween one year, I dress up as Benny. And I walk around saying the same shit and hating like, God damn, wish the building would burn down. So I said that in front of the general manager at the time, Melissa, and that somehow she like pulled me aside and she's like, why are you saying these things? I was like, I'm just saying the same shit that he does, like as a joke. He ended up getting fired because of that. I felt so bad. But then something happened like 4 or 5 months later and they needed somebody, so they brought him back at almost like a third more than what he was making. So I was like, oh, okay, I don't feel so bad. That ended up happening. But yeah, I ended up getting somebody fired literally just because of making fun of them.
To make his life better.
To make it better in the long run.
Well, good for you.
But yeah, that was
so good.
No, I felt pretty bad about that one. There's not many jokes that I feel bad about. That was kind of one of them. Oh. All right, so I guess I'm trying to put together the timeline of that then. So you worked at the Honda dealer, but you had stories of the Canton dealer, Yamaha?
That was, I was always there hanging out with those dudes. That was back when, Hoffman was there and I was friends with him and Sean and, you may not know KC. Yeah, he was our buddy. And, so I knew all those dudes. So it was just
the Asian kid?
Blazing Asian, yeah.
Oh, man,
yeah. KC, yeah.
So he came in, so when it was Cycle Nation, he came in was our, dude, so my last guest, Chris, and I was talking about being adopted, I was getting things mixed up from Casey stories.
Oh, that's great.
When I was like, what about this? And I was like, okay, I've been getting mixed up with somebody else that was adopted. Yeah, it was with Casey. Yeah, because he's this Asian dude that has the most thick Southern accent. If anybody
that's what I told Casey.
Dude, I haven't thought about that, dude.
Him on the phone, and you're like, man. And then you see him, and you're like,
what
wait
the
a minute,
fuck?
That's not who I was talking to.
Dude, I'd love to get back and talk with him again. Like when I left that place, I haven't talked or spoken to him since then. Yeah. But he was a good dude.
Yeah, Casey's a good guy. So.
Yeah, Ryan DeLuca brought him in because he was a parts manager that time to I think do like shipping and receiving. We busted the shipping and receiving guy selling shit on eBay.
Oh no!
And then I think brought him on that. Yeah. Dude, that was another fucking wild shop story. The one dude noticed shit missing during inventory and then somehow had to go use that dude, the shipping and receiving dude's computer, and then saw that part on his eBay that he left up on his computer. So he had to report it to the manager.
Don't do that.
So they set up this whole sting operation and as soon as he like pulled out of the parking lot, the cops showed up and all this. Yeah, it was like fucking wild. But I'm telling you,
but yeah, the
shop stories alone.
You were asking about the Honda. Yeah, the Honda. So yeah, I'm the sole guy at Honda, but yet all my buddies are down at the bottom of the hill at Honda. So
or Yamaha.
Yamaha. And some guy would come in wanting a new power band or something, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you need to go see Mike down at Canton Yamaha. Mike is the power band expert. They keep red ones, yellow ones, green ones, whatever you want, And then I'd wait for my phone, I'd wait for it, an hour later. Bastard.
You know what's funny? At one point, we actually started selling these things that were different color power bands. They were like wristbands you could put on your wrist or whatever. What about the bottle rockets under the bathroom stalls?
That's another shop thing, Who doesn't like to break off the stick of a bottle rocket when your buddy goes in to drop one, light it and good shop fun.
All right, what's another one we got going on here? Crashing an ATV I think that was Mitch that did that.
Oh yeah, Mitch. Got to help your buddies out,
All right,
customers' property.
We might have the thing going on that I was setting up. worth it, people. Just wait. Just wait. Oh, God. This is great. Let's see if he's going to call in. I would call out, but I spent 45 minutes with IT trying to fix my calling somebody issue, and it did not work.
What have you got going on here? Is that like some
All right, so this
sapling?
is the first month of living. We'll talk about that story in a little bit.
Okay.
Hey, you're on with Campfire Moto Stories. Who do we have?
Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jim Fawcett.
So I the first question I asked Greg as the icebreaker on the show was, has he ever taken nude pictures with me? Of me.
Of you.
Of me.
Okay.
And he had to say, I just said, true or false? We're not going into any more details right now. And he said, yes. So James Fawcett is a buddy of mine. For the past 3 years, we've done a nudie calendar on people's motorcycles. So James actually started this because, and we're going to go into all the details when James and his brother-in-law RJ come on the show. So I'm not going to go into the whole backstory of it, but I do want to show that these are the pictures that
Listen up,
that
people.
Greg
This is
took
good
of me on Ryan Villapoto's bike and on Damon Bradshaw's bike right there, right? So what I've been laughing about, and you got your phone on you? Take your phone out.
I do.
So James, what have you been doing the past few minutes?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Because James is your neighbor.
Oh, no.
Just down the street from me. I'm feeling a little bloated right now. So puffy pictures.
Oh, no.
But,
Dude, I just repacked my silencer. Not anymore.
Yeah, all I gotta say is, Greg, your garage is something that I'm working towards.
Oh,
All right, people, I'm getting these pictures sent to my
Please
email
do.
so that I can show you guys.
she's
Hey,
been violated.
So I was texting with your wife to set all this up.
Oh, no.
So
She did not take the pictures, by the way. I took a video and screenshotted them. So no, she ran upstairs really fast.
oh, come on. That would have been actually more fucked up and funny if you told him that his younger daughter took the pictures.
I have only been in the garage. I haven't even gone upstairs. The dog is going crazy.
Oh, you got all of them, dude. Not just.
So yes, James went over to
Oh,
Greg's house just
dude.
now and took all the naked.
There is so much DNA in my garage right now.
I think it's somewhere in here, so you can get the live action shot.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
do you have a camera in there?
You look released. That's all I'm going to say. Like, you look completely released. Oh, that's just.
James,
Oh,
thank
Betty.
you so much for doing this because I was really hoping this would come through, and you never failed me, sir.
Fix this, y'all have some sharp foot pegs. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, I'm going to have to pressure wash everything. Thanks, James. Maybe they'll be faster now that you've defied. What's it? Defaced them.
Defiled.
Defiled. There you go.
No, don't worry. Greg knows exactly where I live. And
I do.
I don't. I expect this to happen to me in the near future.
All right, so let's look at these pictures now. All right, here we go, people. There's one right there. God damn.
I'm glad he left his socks on.
Sexy son.
Could
Dude,
you not
I
have done
leave my
like some knee
shoes on.
highs or something?
I leave shoes on because those fucking pegs hurt.
Oh, Rhonda. He's got Betty, and now he's got Rhonda. Oh, poor-
The Superman pose.
That was a little tough. I got a little like, feet turn on the.
oh.
I literally texted him. I said, "You got to get the 690." He was just talking about it on the show.
My favorite. It was my favorite. I don't like any of them anymore.
Hey, just so you know, your bikes all now have AIDS. James, I made him spit out his beer a little bit and choke.
They all have STDs.
I really literally just get done eating a big old meal at JD's barbecue, so I'm feeling a little puffy right now.
Dude, it's so sweaty.
Yeah, I
I
got
appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm so glad this worked out so well.
Oh, man. That's good.
Well,
This goes in the memory bank, I'm going to say.
This goes in the 2025 Campfire Moto Stories
Memory bank.
/ Ramrod calendar collaboration calendar.
Yeah.
Can we start showing that or selling that as part of the show, James? Giving entries away? I did write a thing in all my fine print says for every dollar spent is an entry to the bike. So
Yeah, we could raise some money for a charity, you know, a good cause. I'm game for that.
What? Should we talk about the model? What was the model?
Oh,
isn't
well,
James,
actually,
this
yeah.
is,
This model on this
is
bike
this,
is not me. This is Craven Moorhead. Actually, James, you know your name because you're the one that told me.
Shaft Sparkson?
James, what's your excuse me, what's your stripper name?
My stage name is Hugh Janus.
There's Hugh Janus right there. Where's another one? This was the best one, which I didn't want to go into all the detail. All right, this was the best one from last year's calendar. James on Cameron Steele's bike at the Colorado 5, or excuse me, Hugh Janus
Yes.
on the Colorado 500 on Cameron Steele's bike.
Some good hairy
Dude,
crack.
one of the best parts of doing the calendar that we've done for a while now is the reveal to people. I have so many fucking hilarious videos of people getting a reveal that we got naked on their bike. Ronnie Mac, RV.
What about Brad? Was it? Yeah, Bradshaw.
Yeah, no, RV was like, that's
He was
fucking hilarious.
cracking
And
up, and
Bradshaw was like, man, what the fuck?
What'd you tell him? Like, yeah, you might want to up on your herpes meds.
Yeah, no,
after.
it's like your bike has herpes now. So just careful with that. So funny thing with that, I'm on the Great Escape race. Kevin Spitzer, that works for corporate Yamaha, was on the line next to me for the 125 open race on Saturday. Grant Hoffman comes up and he starts talking with us. And I somehow mentioned about his bike. And he's like, yeah, this is the Damon Bradshaw bike that he was riding all last year. And I pulled Grant over and I go,
Ooh.
I got naked on that bike. And Grant's dying laughing. And Grant goes, oh, for the calendar? And Kevin's going, wait, what? The calendar? What are you talking about? I was like, no, don't worry about it. I'll show you later. He's like, well, now I'm be thinking about it. I was like, well, it'll either make you better for the race or worse. So then I saw him like right after the race and was like, well, did it make you better or worse? He's like, I totally forgot about it. He's like, but I want to know now. I was like, I got to go get ready to race. I'll show you later. So I did end up showing him on Sunday. And he was like, oh, fuck.
I'm sorry. I'm going upstairs.
What are you going to do, James?
Well, now he's got to rub one out to the pictures that he sent me. You sent me some more pictures.
Oh, I was going to let you know.
Is he listening to us? Jimmy?
No.
He's
yeah,
not.
So your wife's right here. She stayed upstairs the entire time, I promise.
Oh, he's still at your house.
Oh, that's my dog. So I'm listening to him. Okay, nice.
You want to say hi to your wife?
Right. What's going on?
Hey.
That was awesome.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Should I be concerned at all? Or?
Yes. Yes, you should.
Yeah. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go home.
Wait,
now.
what's all the grunting?
Yeah.
I just hear a lot of grunting and groaning and my wife in the background. And
No,
Big
all
Jim.
the freaky steps. You need to lube up those steps going upstairs, man.
I left him that way so
Hey,
I could hear
how
people.
dirty were the bikes that you had to get on?
No, I got
Before or after?
both of the pigs and the 690, and they were all
No, but wasn't there a
clean.
few dirt bikes that were still dirty? Because I know Greg takes pride in how clean he keeps his bikes. Apparently, he couldn't wash them because the driveway got repaved or something. So was there a bunch
Yeah,
of
the
dirty
driveway
bikes in there?
was
Just
paved.
dog them out.
No.
No?
Yeah.
The
No, they're clean.
mufflers are all dirty now.
I didn't want to get on his son's bike. Like that's just I think it's like something.
Oh, come on. I got on it when Will Walker's new kid got that bike. I got on it. He's like 4.
Yeah.
Fuck that. There's no age
I
restrictions.
Let the boy watch.
Well, Jim, you're a saint. Thank you for getting this done. That was
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you, Jim.
Can't wait to have you on so we can talk about all the past photos and pranks and all that stuff. So Get RJ's
It's blossomed
schedule
into
cleared.
something beautiful, and so yeah, I look forward to it, guys.
All right, bud. I'll catch you later.
Hope you get herpes.
All right. See ya.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, I'll come trick or treating tomorrow and get the rest of them.
I'll have a treat for you.
Yeah, right on. All right, later, fellas.
See you, bud. I'm so glad that worked out like I hoped.
Yeah, hey,
Fucking
Greg,
Jim.
I
He's
got,
a
you, I got
saint.
naked on your bikes, man. Yeah. That's awesome.
All right. So, what was it? Oh, you asked about this right before that.
Yeah.
All right. So, Bremen 07, like 2 months after moving up here, I let this one friend of mine who was an MMI certified mechanic, like, wanted to go through my bike. So, not only did the dumbass not put oil in the inner cartridge of my forks after he took them apart, serviced them.
Save weight. I don't do
Yeah.
that.
Like, I'm doing it's like, ka-kunk, ka-kunk. I'm like, what the fuck? So on the second lap, it just dies on me. He didn't push the fucking spark plug cap all the way down. So as soon as I'm on the upside of a double, I go to put my hand up so anybody coming behind me would see that I'm here. And as soon as I did that, bike landed on me, hit the handlebars, snapped my wrist. This dude the dude that landed on me dislocated his jaw. Another dude landed on him and lost like 7 teeth. And then, so I leave my bike. I'm like, my arm's broke. And I go up to the medics. And I'm sitting there waiting for the medics to come look at me. I'm like sitting on the back of the thing. Apparently, they're riding all over the place looking for me. They're like, yeah, this one guy was delusional and fucking walked off the track. So I'm just sitting there and they're like, what are you doing? I was like, I got landed on and broke my arm. They're like, we've been fucking looking for you everywhere. I'm like, yeah, I'm at the ambulance. So they start feeling my arm and they're like, nah, I don't think it's broke, but you should probably go to the hospital. I'm like, my shit's broke. And literally the x-rays, this bone was touching that and this bone was touching, like the ulna was touching the radius kind of thing, like perfect in there. In order to do like the surgery, the doctor's like, it's going to look funny. Like you're going to have this bump there. I'm like, fuck yeah, no, leave the bump.
Chick sticks.
Yeah, chick sticks scars.
Yeah, chick.
What's funny is I'm going to tell the story, the full story later, but a different crash at Bremen, which is my favorite track in Georgia, by the way. I fucking love Bremen.
Yeah, that's right up there.
Yeah,
I can't remember them all. Sorry. Yeah, Bremen's right up there.
So it saved me
defined.
from another broken arm. Like that plate has saved me from another broken arm. All right, so we're about an hour and 40 minutes into this thing. Usually I'm into the segments by now, and you're worried we're not going to be talking long enough. All right, so riding in the back of the U-Haul after you blew a tranny, which is kind of weird that you would blow a tranny and then get in the back of a U-Haul.
Man, you know that.
Like, what? Was it nice?
I've forgotten about
How big was it?
So many of these. Like I said, don't travel with me in a U-Haul or anything. Yeah, that was I think that was a Simra race. I know you guys. I heard you talk about Simra.
Yep.
Southeastern
Actually, Chris,
mini road racing.
Yeah, Chris actually called me randomly today, and I was talking. And I told him that you told me you listened to the last show and talked about the how you had done some. So did you?
Yeah.
Because he asked me, he's like, "Does he know my name?" And I don't think he ever raced long enough in Simra to know.
Was probably. I was like, that was probably the early on stages of the Simra stuff, but yeah, that was a man. I was like, yeah, I got the motorhome and the trailer. You guys, come on, we'll go race Simra. I think it was South Carolina somewhere, and yeah, the transmission blew something. So we pretty much only had first gear, and so yeah, it was like 10 miles per hour for hours on end, and back roads and U-Hauls, and it was just a bad trip, bad story, not a fun time.
So basically, the thing blew up, and then you had to put everything from the motorhome, the trailer, on into the U-Haul.
Yeah, we ditched the motorhome, rented a U-Haul, and we're piling everybody in the back of the U-Haul. And this is like Monday morning, 9 o'clock. We were all supposed to be at work and school, and we're all piling in a U-Haul, and some idiots like, you guys can't do that, and like, dude, we've been awake for 26 hours, and we're just trying to get home, and So yeah.
So
I get
what'd you do with the motorhome? Just leave it there?
We left it there at a transmission shop, and like I don't know, $6,000 later, they fixed the transmission.
You have to like fly back to go get it.
Pretty much, yeah. It
Jeez.
was just let's go racing.
Yeah, a similar thing happened to my buddy Mark Anthony, Alexander, and Ben. We're going to some GNCC race or National Enduro. And I get a call at like 3 a.m. It's like, dude, do you have any hookups for like rental vehicles with my work? Which we won't say. We said those are off limits. But and I was like, dude, you're fucked. Like, no, I can't help you at all.
Not
And
a
they
good
ended up
feeling.
doing the same thing as just like renting a 16-foot U-Haul or Hertz or Budget or something. And then, yeah, just threw everything in the vehicle and just drove on. And I think they were 32 hours awake kind of thing. Weird messages from myself. The fuck is this? It's a little bit odd.
Nudes to yourself? Or?
No, it keeps popping up saying like my regular Facebook account is sending me an attachment. And I'm like, I'm not fucking doing anything. Ghosts
I
in the
sent
system.
some stuff from the bathroom.
Oh, nice. All right. So, never mind, because you didn't work there. But you might have some stories. But I know that Cherokee Gun and Pawn was right next to the whole Canton Yamaha shop, right? And I feel like there would have to be some kind of crazy incident or story that would have to like coincide with that. But I feel like you'd have been working there to get one of those.
Well, it's weird you say that, but there was that was it. That was the one above Moto Britalia, the shop that I was with.
No,
There was
Cherokee Gun and Pawn was
no?
literally, so
At
there's
the
the
Yamaha,
Yamaha shop, and then next door
Oh,
is the pawn shop.
that's where the Napa building maybe is.
Yes.
Now.
Well, no.
Okay. No.
The old Canton shop is the Napa store now.
That's right.
And then next
I
door is
don't-
the Canton,
I don't know
the
any
Cherokee
stores
Pawn.
with that.
Okay. I just know that place is very well known for guns and that kind of stuff. So I figured they'd have to be some kind of weird story going along with it.
No. Yeah, I don't. I do remember being at Moto Britalia, and there was the pawn shop right up the road, like right there. And some dude went in there and rented a a lane and a handgun. And last round he saved for himself. And I was, oh, that's great.
Jeez.
I thought that's where you were going with that.
No. I mean, it's still a crazy story.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into some of the supermoto stuff. What led you into that?
That was, I guess that when about the time the AMA started the series, that like a 5 maybe.
I feel like it was a little bit before then, maybe 04 or 03.
04.
Basically, the time the Four Strokes came out.
Yes.
Well, no, basically the time Honda came out with the Four Stroke is when I remember starting to see more and more stuff. So that would have been 2002 Honda came out with the Four Stroke. So probably 02, 03, 04
Yep.
is when the racing series, somebody was like, oh, we got to start doing something with this.
Yeah. That was kind of when I was at the end of like racing A, and just I was starting to be kind of like the old guy in the A class. And then Supermoto came out, and had a chance to try that, and I was like, dude, this is it. Like, compared to motocross, like you don't even break a sweat.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. So the first time I got to try that, I was like, yeah.
So you told me to ask you about your very first supermoto race at SEMA event. You texted a bunch of other shit too. I don't know if you want me to read off. Like Mike Smith and I worked at Moto Italia.
Yeah,
built a
that was the
bike,
whole
AMA
supermoto, where the supermoto came from. Yeah, that was in another SEMA event. That was my first supermoto race. Was a SEMA event. They had like a 450 class or a big bike class. You know, tons of little bike classes, and then the one big bike class. So, I think it was AC. You know, the Blazing Asian was like, man, they're having this race at a kart track, and you can ride big bike with street tires on it. All right, that sounds cool. So I called up my buddy who had a motorcycle tire place, and I was like, hey man, can I come digging through your back lot and see what I can find? And he was like, yeah. So I found some old Harley takeoffs that were just beat to shit, and
So
So-
because I've done that before. So basically, you were getting like the 21-inch
21-inch
front tire from a fucking
19-inch
Harley.
rear.
Yes.
smoked, been laid out in the sun for. I don't
Yep.
know.
And then a 19-inch from like a cruiser tire as well. So
Right.
you didn't have to change your rim size. I've done the same shit and never actually got to a track day with them.
Right. So they had a some kind of race, and they had like mini bike classes. So we loaded up, CRF 50s and all the mini bikes, and I threw my. I think I had the only bike I had was my TM 125, and I put mounted those tires on the moto rims, stock, moto brakes, moto wheels, everything, tires, or the Harley tires, and that was my introduction to supermoto. So it was a blast because you're on that was all pavement at BTK. It was a kart track, so. But yeah, I think I don't know how they did the start. It was super narrow.
Okay,
you
so
had to
BK
start.
kart track in Alabama.
Yeah,
That makes sense for
Decatur,
that one.
Alabama.
And then you said something about the only bikes that you had were 2 TM motocross bikes. So you took your 125.
Yep, I had we brought our pit bikes and put some slicks on them, and I saw they had that big bike class, so I threw those old Harley tires, and I think I started near the front. Like I don't know if they staged you by how you signed up or whatever, draw pins. I can't recall, but I started kind of near the front and passed a few people, and ended up getting, I think, second. But yeah, those tires were smoked, and the brakes, I had no front brakes. 'Cause, they were
Boiled over.
Oh yeah, but dude, it was so much fun because compared to motocross, it's you don't have to do anything. You just sit there,
Yeah.
turn the throttle, right?
Yeah, turn on the throttle. No, there's some work to it, but compared to what you're used to, I'd almost
Right,
equate
what
it
you're
to
used
like
to.
if you go to AMP and drive the go-karts, right? You're like, this is fun, and you don't realize that you're actually doing a good amount of work, and you get done with 3 different sessions of it, and you're like, ooh, my arm's got a workout. You know what I mean? Like you're like, I feel like I did some work, but I don't feel like I did some work compared to the other shit that where you get
Yeah.
done and you're just like, oh God, what the fuck was I doing this for? Yeah.
Because it's fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can kind of,
Yeah.
I can see where you put that together with that one.
Yep. So that was the introduction to supermoto, and then I think they had another event shortly after that, and then the shop that I was with at the time, they had a Yamaha 450 that they'd built for Mike Smith to race.
Mhm.
They're like, hey, you're going to this event, take this bike and ride that. So I was like, all right, sure. And I took that, and yeah, just after that, I was like, I don't know what I have to do more of this, but
Sign me up.
yes, yeah, right away.
So you told me a while ago, I think it was at Lazy River last year, about a Doug Henry crash. Or both of them? Do we want to dive into that?
I was there when he broke it for the second time, supermoto, not at Red Bud, the infamous motocross crash.
Well,
But
Butts Creek, sir.
wait, sorry, yes, yeah, that was what they called the Daytona round, I think, of the supermoto series, but it was in wherever Cincinnati is from, Florida.
Oh, gee. But now, no.
That's where the race was. Smyrna, New Smyrna Beach
Yeah.
or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. I don't even think it was a race. I think it was still practice. And yeah, Henry was there. A lot of the KTM guys from Europe and Husky would come over.
Yeah, because I mean, we've talked about in the past, like the people that you've raced in supermoto are like well-known names. Like you've raced with Ping, you've raced with Troy Lee, right? Like you've
Yeah.
raced. Like name some of the people that you've raced in battle with.
And
Because I'm sure there's
Yeah.
moments where you're like, dude, this is cool. I'm racing with these guys.
totally, yeah, I was like, I had to wear the 2 hats, like, I'm just here to race and win. But then at the other time, I'm like, oh my God, I had this dude's poster on my Like, yeah, Diamond was like one of the first races we went to, they pitted me next to Mickey, and Mickey Diamond's on one side and Jurgen Kunzel's on the other, and I was like, shit, like I don't belong here.
Don't be the cool guy. Don't go over to him and be that dude. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, you were talking about Doug. Yeah, it was just a tough day, like, because I distinctly remember you came onto the banking. It was like a paved oval track, and they had the infield laid out, and you go onto the banking. And I remember coming around, I would hold, you'd hold up your leg over the hay bale to take as much of the inside as you could. And I remember seeing like a little puddle of oil at one point, like, oh, I don't want to hit that, kind of standing the bike up at the last second. And then next lap around, I just see like pieces of hay bale everywhere and some flags. And I look up, and evidently, Doug had hit some oil and just slid up. Because what had happened is they had the hay bales slid like up against the wall instead of having like a barrier a few feet out and another barrier a few feet out to kind of slow you down. They just had them stacked up against the wall. So whenever he hit it, I'm sure he tucked the front, and he and the bike just went straight into the wall. And it was hard to race the rest of the day, because who doesn't like Doug Henry?
Yeah.
Like the dude, but yeah, that was a tough day.
And I'm trying to put together the pieces of it too, because from what I remember, like back in those days, is something happened. He got paralyzed, obviously from maybe that crash, but then he came back and then was paralyzed again. Is that right? So was that the first time or the second time that you were involved with that?
How he didn't get seriously messed up from was it Bud's Creek, right? Henry Hill, or is that?
Well, yeah, but he wasn't paralyzed from that. He just,
wasn't.
He just broke his back really bad.
That was awful. Like, that's still to this day, that's probably the most awful footage I've ever seen of a crash. I don't like to watch it.
Like I raced that track in 23 for the national. I rode the amateur day or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember like purposely going up to that thing, like
where he left and
don't
where he landed.
Fucking do that. And honestly, I think they built a tunnel jump over where that was in the past. So it's different in a way. It's way peakier. But I still was like, don't fucking whiskey throttle this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course, anything on camera looks nothing like it is in person. Like, dude, Millville, when I went to Millville and looked up Mount Martin, dude, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I swear I said that out loud. I walked down and Joe's like, oh, Mount Martin. I look up and I was just like, what the fuck?
Is this like a hill climb?
Dude, it
or
looks
is this
like
part
the
of
stairway
track?
to heaven. Like, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Dude, he and I, we were like, we got to go make the trek up the hill. And like, we're halfway up, just gassed, just like, dude, this is fucked up to say. I swear to God. There was a woman that looked like she should have been on one of those like A&E shows about like my 500-pound life. Like I'm gassing and I'm just like, and then she's walking down the stairs, not having that many problems. But she walked up them, and I'm like,
I need to get my shit together.
yeah, I can make this. I can make this, because there's no other way to get up there than walking.
Yeah.
Like, they don't take like the ambulances. They won't run that on amateur days because they can't get ambulances up there if somebody gets hurt. But dude, gnarly how big of a hill decline that is. So yeah, to think about where he went, where he landed, pretty bad.
That's just such a long time to think about how much this hurt.
Well, yeah, because he was in the air probably
4.5
seconds, which
12
seems
seconds.
like 4 minutes at that point when you fucked up. God, I mean, I can think of how many jumps where I've overjumped and been like,
this is so bad.
oh, there's the landing, and it still seems like another 3 minutes before you land, kind of thing. Yeah, time does slow down, people. All right, so Doug Henry Clash. So I wanted to know, like, what was some of the cool supermoto races or events you got to attend? Because I've heard about, like, there was the Queen's Mary. Obviously, you've done some stuff in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, what's some of the really cool events that you got to do?
They did some cool races. One of my favorites was probably State Line. the State Line Supermoto Challenge, to be correct. I think it was like every spring. It was like I guess it was probably like like the warm everybody up for the AMA series that started off in the spring or something. But first time we went there in Vegas, and it wasn't even an AMA sanctioned race, but they held it in the parking lot of the Buffalo Bills Casino, a big resort with a roller coaster. It was super cool, but I just couldn't believe how many people were there. Like, it was like being in an amateur motocross national, but it was all supermoto. It's like blown away. A lot of fun memories of that place. So, but that was the first place where they put me in the pro pits with all those guys trying to play it cool.
That kind of segues in it because you did say like racing the starting Supermoto Challenge pitting with legends. So is that the other two guys that you were kind of talking about, or is there other times too where you've just been in the pits like, oh fuck?
Yeah, because I'm just this local Georgia guy that was pretty decent on a motocross bike, and then I got into supermoto, and then I guess I was pretty decent at it. So they was like, well, if you're good, you go out here. So I went out there, and they put me in the pits, and yeah, it's like literally, we're sitting there. Kerry Hart and his guys, they were right across.
Oh, I forgot they did first start as Hart and Huntington as a supermoto team. It wasn't until later they went to the Supercross team.
Yeah, Kerry and had a younger brother, I think, who was later killed at a race.
Yeah,
that was
I've heard that talked about in a few different pods. Yeah.
Yeah, that was another tough day, man. But
were you there that day for that race?
Yeah, that was I don't remember what round that was, but yeah, just it was cool being able to race against some of these guys that I looked up to and I watched on TV, and being able to just be at the same race with them was cool, and being able to compete with some of them was like dream come true,
Yeah, I can imagine. I never got to that level at anything I did.
Well, not everything.
So what about breaking down on the way back from Supermoto in Vegas? And some annual trips to Vegas stories. That's where you'd text me. Seems like there was some good stuff there.
Yeah, in particular, I don't remember the year, but our buddy's his truck broke down in Arizona somewhere, and he's like, "No big deal, we'll hit the OnStar stuff." And OnStar was like, "Yeah, sorry, you're done. We can't help you." So we sat there for hours and hours. I guess this was probably 6, 7, somewhere in there. Coming home from one of the state line races, and yeah, it's so yeah. We after like 2 or 3 hours, finally some tow truck guy comes by and tows us back into Snowflake, Arizona, and it's like going back in time. The town is whole like in the 50s. It hasn't changed. And we were there for a couple days.
It's like being in that Disney movie, Cars.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly, totally. Yeah,
Radiator Springs. There we go.
Arizona.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so we're there. It's like a fuel injector or something. So it takes like 2 or 3 days to get one. So
yeah.
The guy that took us
they
back,
didn't just like order one off Amazon and it was there within like 48 hours?
No.
12 hours?
No. So here we are stranded in Arizona for multiple days with nothing to do but just wait on our truck to get fixed. And one of the cops came by and chatted with us, and he was like, "Well, yeah, you guys are welcome to ride your motorcycles, just common sense kind of thing." So we had free reign of the whole town.
No
on our
shit.
supermoto bike.
Pretty cool.
And they were like straight from the racetrack, like slicks and no lights or anything. So it was at the time it really sucked because I wanted to go. Like, I missed my family so bad. I'd already been gone like for a week probably, and
Yeah.
just wanted to get home. But it was my second son was just born, and it was so hard to leave him, and I just wanted to get back and see him. But to be able to just
And then a few weeks, like once you got back, you're like, fuck this kid, I'm out.
I did.
Yeah.
I was like, little bastard, I'm going back to the desert. But it was just so cool, just riding your supermoto bike through the middle of town, me and 4 of my buddies. And
having the cops' permission to do that too.
cops' permission, because we were on the edge of nothing, just the desert. So we just took our bikes, our supermoto bikes, and we would just go out and just go. And I remember there was
would you like see a trail that you could tell was kind of a trail and just go explore
it's just desert. So, you know, you could go wherever you wanted to go. If you could see it, you could just go. So we were just going, and I remember
you're not on the road all the time then.
well, getting to the edge of town. I remember there being a school, and there's all these kids that came running to the fence because it was almost like they'd never even seen a motorcycle or something. So all these
they're
kids
living
come
in the
running down
50s.
the hill, right? So they're grabbing hold of the fence, and I just stand up, just really it past and dude, they were just losing their minds, and I remember thinking, man, this is cool. So, and yeah, just riding through some of those washes and the jackrabbits, coming down, and yeah. It sucked, but when you look back, you're like, man, that was pretty cool.
What's funny about situations like that is I feel like you'll never know, and you'll never realize it too, but there's a kid that watched you do that didn't get to see that before, that probably is still riding because of the fact that happened in their life and it just stuck with them. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things happen, because I can kind of think of just stupid stuff. I remember somebody jumping like a KX80 in the back of my neighborhood woods. And like this was really before I got back into riding, and I'm not going to go into whole my connections of the past and stuff, but I was probably 6, 7. And I remember the kid like hitting a jump over the street and me not really realizing it. But the next thing I know, I'm jumping myself. You know what I mean? Like as I'm watching him, like wanting to be that dude kind of thing. Like those little things like connect with you when you're little and impressionable, that will last with you. Like, dude, I'm too stupid to give up racing and riding. I'm taking a break from woods. That's not quitting, but
you're just mad at it right now.
Yeah, I'm mad at it right now. We have a love-hate relationship, but
I try to give the little, anytime we're on a dual sport ride, if I see some kids in the yard waving, just beep,
you never know.
Give them a good wheelie, and dude, their faces just light up like they're so excited, and I'm like, man, that was fun.
Yeah, I love those kind of things. All right, so we're getting to the end of the final questions with you, and then we're going to go into my segments, and then we're going to wrap up the show. Annual trips to Vegas. I don't know if that was kind of part of that story.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, and then you said JP Money and Racing Supermoto, so that's obviously Jessica Patterson.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, she and I kind of moved into the B class at the same time, and
for motocross or for yeah.
And just always been buddies, just from sitting and staging, we kind of strike up a conversation and became buddies, and then somehow she gets involved in supermoto, and so do I, and then we meet again in staging, and then we're just sitting and chatting, and she hauls ass on a supermoto bike. Like, I can't get around her. Like, it's awesome. So she's like, yeah, you need to get into the supermoto stuff. So I was like, all right. So she's kind of responsible for getting me into that. But
so she pushed you to go into like SEMRA and doing all those kind of things, or did you already do SEMRA and you told her about it and then she pushed you into it?
Yeah, she was into it first, but I don't know. It was probably early 2000s, but yeah, she was kind of. I'll put some of that responsibility on her for getting me into it.
So
What we got.
The last thing, I will say this. Kaysen, do you have anything that like you should ask him about this, or do you have anything that you want to hit on before we kind of wrap up your guys' stuff? All right. Well, one of the last things that I have written up is about drifting in Canada. You kind of you were just there a little bit, and you actually sent me this pretty cool video. So I wanted to play this because this is kind of something that you guys have been into. You said you go to like Lanier every Friday?
Yeah,
kind of thing?
Across the street from Road Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, so let me move this to the other screen. Damn it, pause. Hold on. Here we go. All right, move this to the other screen there. Get this full screen. Full screen. There we go. All right. What's going on here? This is a pretty cool video.
Yeah, this is right along with Kaysen there.
So Kaysen's driving.
Yep,
and you're
I'm riding along for the ride.
So who's that in the other car?
cousin.
Yeah, his cousin Liam he's probably responsible for all this mess, isn't he? Yeah, that's his cousin Liam in Canada with the Slip Club. Yeah, just chasing each other around. Super fun.
All right, so that's the end of that one. Somebody else might call in. They just sent me a little text here, so we'll see. Maybe we'll keep an eye on that one.
I'm still thinking about all the bleach and like disinfectant wipes I'm gonna need when I get home.
All right, so it's funny you say that.
Oh no! Really?
Yes.
Oh,
This is pretty funny.
So I deserve it.
I took all the equipment out of here. I've had it in my RV for the past 2 weeks, right? I think I texted you when I told you that I was setting this all up. So my dog that you got to meet earlier, she's sitting in here with me. Where's the fucking picture?
Oh.
Here it is.
Not humping the beer I'm drinking, am I?
No. But look at this bitch. She just fucking vomits all over the goddamn couch.
The one I'm sitting on?
Yes.
All right.
It's about where your phone is right now, actually.
Sweet.
But yeah, and then just gives me this look like, fuck you, clean it up. Right? Look at that face.
That's great. That's great.
Clean up my shit, bitch.
Crack ass cracker.
Yeah, there it is.
That's awesome.
There's the art. There's the
All right.
artist.
I like the drips too. That's
Yeah, most of it actually got on the floor. I was kind of happy with that. And what's funny is, the dogs start doing that, and I'm like, oh no, and I like start to go, and about the time I got there, it was gone, and I was like, well, let me get a picture of this.
all right.
So yeah, you might need some disinfectant, but yeah, then I went and got the fucking there's like that horse spray cleaner shit, then all the other, like trying to blot it out and all that other stuff. Here's a good one. What happened here? Talk shit to your wife? Beat you in the fucking leg?
That's funny. That's actually Chad Reed, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah, that was Chad when he was at it.
Yeah, I got this from your Facebook. Why do you have pictures of Chad Reed on your fucking Facebook? You
Hey,
creep?
I don't have to give you, Come on.
Let's see. Any other? Let's just roll through some of these pictures. Is there
That
anything?
was Nashville Supermoto, AMA Nashville AMA Supermoto. Yeah.
All right. Were you in this picture here? Is that you in the front? What's going on here?
Oh yeah, that was.
I robbed a bunch of pictures from your Facebook, by the way.
Stalking, like.
Yes, very much, very creeperish.
Cool.
All right.
Yep, that's some more. That's in Florida. Stark, Florida is where that's at. Actually, they do like a rally school there. Pretty cool place. The Firm Florida International Rally.
That looks
That's
like
the-
Heron's place.
That is the Heron's place.
Okay.
Yep. That was 05.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hit on some of the pictures that we maybe didn't talk about yet. Oh, look at you, Monster
Everybody's
Mountain.
favorite track, Monster.
Dude, I fucking love Monster. If there was a
Who doesn't
question
love
of
Monster?
what track is like your favorite period,
Monster.
Monster would be pretty much up there.
It's been an awesome track for so long. Heath, they do cool things.
What do we
in
got going on with
it. A
this?
little tongue action.
Yeah. Wait, Kason, is that you? Oh, what are you doing to Sean there?
He likes the tongue.
Yeah, I bet he does.
He does.
Sean McCaw.
Macaw.
All right, so thought this was just a cool pic. You and Palmer, right?
Me and Junior there.
That's
youngest.
Sparky's, right?
Sparky's, yep.
Yeah.
That was a fun day.
Yeah, for any of you audio listeners, I guess you're just going to have to go to the YouTube and watch them. What about this one?
That's myself and Mark Burkhart. I think, he won that
That
day.
looks like Bremen.
That's actually Florida somewhere. I think it was like Bike Week they had some kind of race to bring in the guys that were down for Bike Week. So some of the factory KTM guys were there and factory Yamaha. I think Henry was there that weekend. I think Burkhart won. Maybe Henry got second. I think I
So
got
this
third.
is supermoto then. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
because of the tires.
Yeah, the handguards kind of give it away, and the leathers that Burkhart's wearing, I guess. But yeah,
I
you
see
remember
it
Mark Burkhart? He was like Ohio.
I know the name, but I
arena
don't
cross
remember him
champ,
too
I
well.
think. Yeah, he's a super fast guy.
All right, so we're going to get through some of our segments now. So we'll go with some of our tech tips. So
now it's time for some awesome tech tips.
transform your comfort with Innovative Mechanical LLC, specializing in HVAC service for residential and commercial properties. They provide expert installation, maintenance, and repair. They're certified technicians, top-notch service, whether it's conditioning, heating systems, indoor air quality solutions. Serving Georgia since 1999, they prioritize customer satisfaction, prompt, reliable service at competitive rates, routine maintenance, emergency repairs. Trust Innovative Mechanical LLC for all your HVAC. Give them a call at 770-726-7407 or innovativemechanical.llc.com to schedule service and parallel comfort today. All right, here's my tech tip. So you're riding with bibs. It is a pain in the ass to get the rim lock pushed in so that you can get this tire on properly. So took this, took a long nut, a long bolt, any thread, it's about 5-6 inches long. And I took a wrist pin out of a dirt bike, a washer, extension from a socket. Pressed them into there so that it would stay, won't fall out. So what you'll do, take this, set it in between the hub and the rim lock. Of course, this one's on the bottom. Oh, actually, there's 2 rim locks on a CR500 apparently. Weird. So essentially lock it into the hub where it is. Obviously, it's not adjusted to the right height. Then you can start pushing that thing back. So I understand in this, I think they do make a tool with it, but super cheap. Used a lot of stuff that I just had laying around the garage. Made lightweight. Also, while doing that, any tire change, get you a damn bead, buddy. This thing will save your life and keep you from paying so many damn. So that's all I got. All right, now we're on to the next segment. So one of the things that I always focus on is a stolen bike. So I'm actually, damn it, I went to the wrong message. So I wanted to actually go to that person's message. There we go. Jeremy Stalling, because this thing freaking sucks of how this all happened. Is there a way to move that to the next thing? All right, so this kid, and just so you guys know, what I do with this is I offer 500 entries into the YZ250 giveaway if you can help recover this stolen bike. So from what I kind of gathered with this is the fact that, let's read this right here. So one of them was a 2025, and he just made his first payment on it, and the other one was a little bit older. So this kid got both of his pit bikes stolen from him at the same time. Yeah, so I think that one's the 25. No, well, this one here is a 25, and that one's a little bit older one. So take a good look at these bikes, because it sucks to get your shit stolen. So I've been there. It's happened to me several times in my life. But I will say this.
Several?
Yeah, several times.
Let me guess. You let homeboy test ride your...
No, and honestly, that's usually what happens with a stolen bike.
I don't understand that.
I will never understand that.
Sure, take it around the block.
But every single time that happens with somebody, they're like, I had a weird feeling. Maybe you should act on that weird feeling, not worry about offending somebody. Because that's really what happens. It's like, I don't want to accept this dude and make him think that I think he's going to steal my shit and not tell him no. And your shit gets stolen. So that's what happens. They're counting on people's good nature. So yeah. What did I say the name was? Jeremy Stalling? Go back. Damn it! Why does it do this bullshit? I don't know. I don't know how to work it on a desktop. Okay. Yes, Jeremy Stalling helped them get their shit back. There's all this stuff. There's all the info. Make it happen, people. They'll give you 500 entries into the YZ250 giveaway. All right, let's go on to the next segment here. Videos submitted. Okay, I actually have some really good videos that were sent to me this week and things that I witnessed happen. So you weren't at the Great Escape race.
PG or 13?
Ish. The dog throw up. Which one's this? Okay. This is fucking amazing. So this was at I believe at the GNCC last weekend.
From where?
Ugh.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude, that could have been
So I
bad.
reached out to Tanya about this.
Holy.
Dude, I wanted to look, you can hear
She's about 1 second away from autism.
Oh. Look.
You can hear the wheel.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. But dude, look how close. Yeah, she was super close to being decapitated. So the main thing I wanted to kind of present with this whole video is the fact that I don't know if this chick's been to a race before. I don't know if it's their first
Clearly
time.
not.
But if you bring somebody to an event like this, you need to be
You're
like,
responsible
hey,
for them.
yeah, hey, you don't do these certain things. Like there's
Right.
certain stuff. It's almost like taking somebody to the track for the first time, and you're like, hey, what's something you tell all those people? If somebody is coming to pass you, don't move. If you hear somebody coming
They'll go
up
around you,
they will get around you. Don't fucking move because they're coming, right? I've ran over so many people doing that bullshit. All right,
because
so
you were
that
the faster guy or the slower guy.
fuck you. No, honest, like kidding aside, it was on the shitty side of being. You know what's some bullshit? I've been the landed on, and I've been the landee,
Yeah.
and both times I got the worst end of the shit, right? Like I got this on one time, and I remember at Reddick one time landing on somebody, and it was like I missed them perfectly, but the front wheel hit the handlebar, the rear wheel hit the fender, and I went like as hard as you could go, like a slingshot all the way to the head, right?
Yeah. Right to the head.
And then that person was like, I guess, doing this and was fine. But yeah, it's like, how the fuck do I get the worst end of that shit on both situations?
If anybody's going to land on me, just putting this out there, like, I would appreciate a little panic rev, like pre-land, like, hey, I'm up here, you're about to get landed on.
It doesn't
but
always
don't
work.
hold it on when you land on me.
Oh yeah, chop it.
Chop it.
Yeah.
And I
That's
don't want
fair.
the wheel spin too.
All right, so this was at the Great Escape race, and I literally watched this in person. And I think it was Michael Adams, which is part of the Atlanta.
I saw that.
Dude, I watched this in person and was like, oh!
This does not have C-Class written all over it.
So that's Daniel Sullivan there.
That's so awesome.
Dude, but... And what's crazy is you're like, what did he get knocked out for? Because at first you're thinking it's just Daniel hitting him, but watch.
It's like
Daniel
two guys
wheeling
over.
into that guy.
Bam.
It's that guy. So that guy right
Five
there,
guys down.
that guy is the one that actually hits him right in the head. Watch it one more time.
He's way over there.
This guy right here, right?
Bam.
Boom. Hits him so hard. He is knocked out cold.
Dirt
And
nap.
the real funny thing to the whole situation is, so I told them, I'm like, hey, he's parked by me. Like, this is where he was parked right next to Terry Hunter. I bet you he's one of Terry's buddies. I think I saw his name was Mark Hamilton or something like that. So as I saw it firsthand because I was in staging. So I get off my moto. By the time I'm riding back to my RV, I see Daniel, Michael, I think it was Michael's wife, talking to the guy. And I just pull up and I'm like, hey man, so are the cops coming for like you beating up senior citizens, or is there like some kind of law against what you just did? Was it like a hate crime? And they're kind of trying not to laugh because he just smoked this guy, right? And the guy that got smoked was kind of laughing at it. And I'm looking at, usually you see somebody that got knocked out and there's nobody home, right? Like, dude, I have this hilarious picture of my wife where you can just tell there's
Nobody's
nobody there.
home.
And so you can tell that was somebody, but he seemed like coherent to an extent. But yeah, they said like, no, he was not home at that point.
Looks like we missed some good stuff though.
Yeah. All right. I do think that was. How do we get out of this bullshit without having to fucking restart all this shit? Aren't you millennial? K-son? You can't fit into a Gen Z. I'm technically a millennial. Don't try to fight it, boy. You're a millennial. Yeah. I think that was. I feel like there's one more video that somebody sent me that I don't want to miss on. The video your mom sent me. No.
Something raunchy, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. No, I guess that was all the videos that were sent in. Right, sent in stories. Dude, I think we're close to wrapping this thing up. You guys got any more stories you can think of before we end the show? We've been going at it for 2.5 hours.
Have we?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, these things go by quick. People don't realize it. You feel like you've been here for an hour, right?
It's like my honeymoon. Just,
Yeah.
you know, you
I'm
want
sure-
all these exciting things.
I'm sure the
and it
things
just-
that happened on the honeymoon, too, like you thought took a long time, but went by real fast for your wife.
very unpleasant. And no, I wait a minute. I got to ask about this dusty old trophy here. Second place, first loser.
Mm-hmm.
What's that from?
So that was from the first year that I lived in Georgia. And what's kind of funny about that one is the final race was at, and this is for the big series, Best in Georgia,
Best in
right?
Georgia.
So the final race was at Pecan Valley in McRae, Georgia.
Yeah.
That was another really fun
Home
track.
of Georgia's own Matt Walker.
Oh, is it?
McRae, right?
McRae? I didn't realize that Matt Walker was from there.
I think so.
So,
Anyway, carry on.
but it was a really cool track and stuff.
Sun
So
Valley, yep.
I don't keep track of points at all. Like, I don't give a shit. It is what it is. It's not going to make me race better or worse. If anything, I feel like in a lot of times it'll make people race worse because they have stress. Like, oh, I got to finish this place. So I don't remember the dude's name, but Moto 1, he won, and I got second. And the second moto, or however it worked, I just needed to finish in front of him. So I remember I did everything to get the overall for the day, right? So I battle. I'm holding him off and like pulling away in sections. He's reeling me in other sections. It was honestly, I don't care how I finish in a lot of races. I want to have a good battle with somebody. Like that Lazy River race that we did last year sucked because there was this giant group of people way out in front of me, and there was this giant group of people way behind me.
you.
And I'm in the middle, like, like
Slow
fucking
down.
riding by myself, right? Well, that's what I did with RV. I got to, beat RV
Well,
across
he
the finish
wanted
line.
a challenge.
Yeah.
He told me.
He didn't want no smoke.
He did tell me he was a little concerned.
Yeah.
But
Okay, sure.
I was like, "You got
So I ended up getting him for the overall. So I'm crossing the finish line like, yeah, dude, fucking got the overall today. I was like, high-fived him, and I could see through his goggles. He's kind of looking at me like, are you fucking stupid? So I think the second moto, somebody else was in front, but they had a shitty first moto, and I knew that. So I was like, whatever. But apparently I needed to beat that guy to get the overall championship and didn't. So he's looking at me like, you're stupid. You just fucking lost the series. And I got the series. So I don't care that I got second behind you this weekend.
Yeah.
So
you lost the battle, but you won the war or something like that?
no. I won the
Won the
battle
battle,
and lost the war.
There you go.
Yes. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But it was one of the taller trophies that I have out of all the trophies in the attic. So I just threw that one in here with it.
Yeah.
Funny story about trophies, right? And this is what I want the show to be. You talk about something that fucking reminds you of something, right? I remember the first. So I raced a little bit when I was 3. Then my dad broke his leg and arm. We didn't race for a while. We trail rode, went to Croom, did all this shit in Florida.
Powerline riders.
Yeah, powerline rider. Well, kind of. We didn't have too much powerline riding in Florida. It was more like sister riding, kind of. Well, no, that was more Georgia when I came up here. Anyway,
Alabama.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all a blur of the South. So I remember I got like 9th place, and at Dade City, it didn't matter what place you got. Up to
50%. So if there's 30 people, 15 people would get trophies, and they would give out little tags. I still have the 9th place trophy down there. So it was like my first race ever getting to talk my dad back into it when I was on like 80s, before 85s even. And I'm in line, and the dude in front of me is asked, and I think he got like second in the class, right? It's probably like 80 beginner class. And she's like, do you want an award or a t-shirt? And he's like, I got enough awards. I'll get a t-shirt. And I was like, what the fuck are you thinking? I will never not take an award that I won, right? And I have stuck true to that. So now I have like 7 piles of just fucking plaques and trophies and shit like in the attic. Because my wife won't let me put them out because it's tacky, right? What does she know about decorating?
Right.
Right? Look at that. I decorated this. This looks
Great.
okay. But yeah, like ever since then, I'm never not accepting awards. So even to this day, I don't care if it's, well, I do care if I have to wait for hours, but I will ask Terry Hunter to get my award from me, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I will never not accept an award. I don't care how terrible it is.
Right. Even if it's second place.
Yeah, second place. I think I have 20th place plaques. I don't care. I'm taking them. All right. Are we going to wrap this thing up?
Are we?
Yeah. You got any other things, Dad? I just want to give a very special shout out to James Fawcett again for
Yes.
sneaking into your house.
Defiling my sweet little girls at home. And no. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to
He's
wrap
man.
the show. I'm going to give you one of my stories that my kid gave me right before bedtime last night.
This is great.
And then we're going to play the outro, and I will see you back in 2 weeks. And I just want to give another reminder. Send in some stories, send in some videos. It'll earn you entries into the YC250.
Awesome.
So-
Thanks for having me, sir.
No,
It's
thanks for
been
coming
fun.
in. Yeah,
Can't wait for the
Dude, I'm going to get you and Sean in because Sean's going to be fucking amazing. Sean McCall.
peace.
See ya.
So right now you're going to tell me a Minecraft motorcycle story?
Yeah.
Let me hear that Minecraft motorcycle story.
Once upon a time, me and Fruit Blocks right here,
Okay.
we went on a street bike and we found a fox. And he came along. We found a pig. He came along. And then
Where were you guys riding through? I know you're on a street bike.
we
but-
were riding through the woods on a street bike.
Oh, like a nice mountain road?
Oh yeah.
What'd you do when you got to the nice mountain road?
We did everything. We did everything that is property, and we did a wheelie on the mountain.
A wheelie on the mountain?
Yeah, we
Did you crash?
No. In the top, we did this, and then like the bike went like this is the top, and then the bike went like,
Ooh.
and then did a wheelie and this, and kept going.
Nice. Hey, so this weekend we went to Durhamtown, right? Right?
Yeah.
So got to finally ride your P-Dub, right?
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
Really cool.
Yeah. What do you think about when we went on the arena cross track? So the arena cross track is the one that had the big jumps, and you thought the one was a tabletop, but it was a double. Had that big crash.
I don't like.
Yeah, I know you don't like it, but tell me what happened there.
I was crying.
Well, tell me what happened. What you were thinking, like.
I thought it was a tabletop because
Mhm.
I saw the side of the other jumping,
Oh, okay.
and I went fast, and I got it. Went from here all the way
Yeah, you
from-
did.
from 5 feet to all the way there.
Yeah.
about a 20-foot jump and you went about 5 feet and then you crashed pretty hard. When you were in the air, were you like, wee, and then you hit the ground and you went, oh no? Or the whole time when you went in the air, you were like, oh no?
And the whole time when I went,
What about the bicycle ramp you went down, the wooden one? What happened with that?
I had a big bump and I don't like it.
Yeah. What did you, because you saw Mama was recording, what did you try to do to her phone?
I tried to stop recording.
Yeah, you tried to pull the phone out of her hand, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I had a blast with you last week. I'm looking for you riding the PW, right? Give me a high five. I'm proud of you. Hi, buddy. Love you.
You wanna talk about a lead? I have got shut in the darkness. With cups and rolling dice. Twice, yeah. And when this all takes another word, felt like I was trying to shake. Felt like to what we knew. It could try, but it never break us. It could try, but it never break us. Like we can't function on this level. We laugh at who we are for the joke that's taken too far. It's gone crashing over. We won't let it take us